My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. I'm going to break down the entire UFC Baku fight card, giving you my picks, my predictions, my bets, and my DraftKings fantasy plays. And you might notice I'm flying solo tonight, and that's because I'm going to break this card down with you. People in the chat, premium members, I will break this card down with you. Jacob is on vacation. So let's go ahead and jump right into a pretty good midday fight card. Before we jump in, I do want to say goodbye to my little buddy here. If you've watched these streams before, you have heard dog screaming in the background over the last couple of years, maybe the last year or so, and that's because Scout, my dog, was sick. He had a disease called Cushing's, and he was never full, always thirsty, just had an adrenal gland issue, so he would just scream for food, and no matter what we did, it didn't take care of it. So we had to put him down yesterday. So if I'm a little off today and I'm a little out of it, this is why. Anybody who's been through this knows it's horrible. And I have little kids, which makes it even worse. So super tough. That middle picture. So on the left is Scout, my buddy. On the right is a more recent version of Scout. The middle is Jacob's dog and Scout. That's how Jacob and I met, through the dogs. This is a butterfly effect. I was walking Scout, he was walking his dog Indy, and that's how we met. So without Scout, there's no friendship with Jacob. Without a friendship with Jacob, there's no We Want Picks. So through the most annoying dog in the world, he was a giant pain in the ass. Through the most annoying dog in the world, birthed this. He indirectly changed my life. So I'm going to be off. I'm going to be off for a little bit, and then we'll dial it in. And this stream's going to be pretty quiet because without that dog screaming in the background, it's actually kind of silent in here. And without Jacob screaming about God knows what and distracted about whatever television program he's watching, it's also going to be a little quiet in here. And I have taken this picture from his Twitter. Jacob posted this picture. He's on vacation. He's straight up not here. This isn't like some weird, he's literally on vacation. He posted that picture. He said, I'm out of the country. Here's my lock of the week. And people were like, bullshit. And so he sent this picture. And I saw that picture and I just lost Scout. We just had to put our dog down. And then I see this picture. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose two best friends in 1 week. Because I saw this picture and I immediately was like, holy shit, this looks like a deep pool. This might be a 5-foot pool. And Jacob can't swim. He's from Indiana. There's no water in Indiana, so Jacob can't swim. And if it's a 5-foot pool and he falls off of this raft, what the hell is he going to do? He can't stand in 5 feet of water. That's a huge problem. So I immediately was concerned. Then I saw the palest person on that entire island with no sunscreen. So I said, oh my God, somebody with a major sun allergy and basically see-through skin has no sunscreen on. So if I don't lose him to drowning because the pool is 5 feet and he can't swim, I'm going to lose him to sun allergy in a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. So pour one out for Scout because we lost him, and just prayers up for Jacob because he's still around, but let's just hope that raft flips over. This channel is going to look very, very different. So that's why I need you all to get me through this, both in a call-in fashion. If you're a premium member, you want to call in, there's a link in the Discord under premium alerts or on the account page in premium or in the comments. I'll try to keep up with all of it. Running this shit solo is not easy, especially when you're not 100% there. While Jacob is not here, I will be with you all at UFC 317 next week. If you guys will be at UFC 317, anybody that's there for International Fight Week, I'll be there. I will be there Thursday, Friday, and then I'm flying home Saturday. We're actually not watching the fights, and a lot of that came down to how wildly expensive the tickets were. And I was like, you know what? I can't justify spending this much money on these tickets. I'll go home. I'll watch it at home. I'll have the boys over. We'll do all the thing. So it's going to be kind of a wild week. I got family flying in to watch my children because we don't have any support in here in Texas to watch the kids. So I got family flying in to watch my kids. My wife and I are heading to Vegas. We will be in Vegas Thursday, hopefully going to the press conference. We'll be in Vegas Friday, going to UFC X, and then Saturday morning we're out. So if I see you, say hi. Let me buy you a drink, premium or not. And I've said this before, but the funniest thing that ever happens when I meet people that have been watching the show for a while for the first time, the first thing out of their mouth is their premium status, which is funny. So if I see you, say hi. I will be with my wife, so don't embarrass me. Don't make fun of me. Tell me how tall and handsome I am. Wow, I knew they said you were tall. I didn't think you were this tall. Shit like that, please. My wife is there. She is mean. So just be nice to me in front of her. You're not going to avoid a premium pitch. While the emotions are high and I'm sad, the show must go on. And if anything could get me perked up, it's watching emails come through that we got new premium members. So if you want to become a premium member, it's not just a list of picks. I know the channel's called We Want Picks. And on the website, we do have picks. We have mine, we have Jacob's, we have Arden's, we have BetSam's, we have an artificial intelligence. But there are tools as well. One of those tools is the Fight Simulator. We released this a couple of months ago. It's not that old. We released it a few months ago, and what it does is simulates fights 100,000 times. 100,000 times. And then you spit out those simulations. It'll tell you who it thinks wins. It'll tell you how often they win. It'll tell you how many strikes they'll land and wins and losses. It'll give you a whole bunch of information. You can use that to place bets. You can use it to build DraftKings fantasy lineups. You can use it for Prize Picks and Underdog, which is what I've been using it for, and I've been doing quite well with the lines that come out of the simulator. We also have a tape index for those of you who like to do your own tape study. You want to watch the fight, you're going to watch this video, maybe for entertainment purposes, maybe you'll watch this video for some insight, but you want to watch the actual fights themselves, the tape index will get you there. You don't need to dig through the depths of internet hell to find the right video. We got it for you. The tape index is a brand new tool. We also have an optimizer. This will build DraftKings fantasy lineups for you. And if you don't really know how to use an optimizer, we added a beginner mode, industry first. And all of that, plus 100 other things I did not mention, are available right now for $10. It's $10 a month, not $10 a card, not $10 an event. $10 an entire month's worth of access. It includes every tool and a whole bunch of things I didn't mention. There's no tiers. There's no upsell. There's no cross-sell. It's one package for $10. There's not even fucking tax. It's $10. I honestly probably should charge tax because I think I got to pay it. $10 across the board, even flat money for an entire month. And if you sign up now, you get 2 pay-per-views. You're going to get UFC 317. You're going to get UFC 318, and in between that are this card, Baku, and the fight night with Derek Lewis. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member, whether you want to unlock the tools, whether you want the bets, you want to copy-paste, you want to do the work, you want the tape study, whether you just want to support your boys. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. We quite literally built the greatest offering in this space. Oh, shit. This is the next slide. All right. Damn, I would just jump right into it. Look at me. A couple super chats before I deep dive, and then we'll go ahead and hit this card. Again, if you want to hop on, great. There's a link. If you don't, that is fine. I have a couple comments, and then I'll hit the super chats. Brett's Paradox said, Rountree is fool's gold, just like Big Ange's old nipple ring. I did have a nipple ring. I know it probably seems out of character because you just see that I'm a father of 2 and live a pretty normal suburban life. But hey, I grew up going to the Jersey Shore every weekend, wilding out, doing the thing. My buddy and I on a dare, we got our nipples pierced. And I don't have it pierced anymore because my immigrant mother ripped it out. She ripped it out. I was in my kitchen. I was with my other friend. I pissed him off. I don't remember how. He lifted my shirt in front of my mother, knowing full well what she would do. She reached in, went, bah! Ripped it out. Not a word was spoken. That's what happens when you're raised by immigrants. Comment from Will. Maybe Jakey can scribble down his picks on a hotel napkin and get them posted as a community post. That's because Jacob is not here. Jacob's picks, all of his bets, everything is on the website. A full list of his picks, a full list of his bets. It's all on the website. Just because he's on vacation doesn't mean he didn't do the work. He's just not on camera. And then this from Junior Tress 91. Jacob carries this entire show. The other guy is a babbling dildo. And while I'd love to disagree with that, we are 9 minutes into a video and I haven't given you a single pick. So this guy's onto something. He's a fucking loser, but he's onto something. $4.99 super chat for the win says, let's go, Dan. I appreciate you. It was thank you, Dan. We were thanking Dan Ige for stepping up and saving the co-main event at UFC 303. I appreciate the $4.99. Thank you for that. And then we have another $4.99 from David Rios. Angelo, don't forget you're tall and handsome. You look like Ben Affleck, and you can beat Jacob up anytime. Every single one of literally every single one of those are true. I am tall. I'm 6'3". I'm pretty handsome. Ask my kids and wife. I look exactly like Ben Affleck to the point where people ask for pictures, and I've already beaten Jacob up, and it's on camera. I have pictures to prove it. You can go watch the tape on YouTube. So, hey, David Rios dialed in. Thank you for the super chat. I'm going to break these fights down. Give me your genuine thoughts in the comments here. I'll see if I can keep up with all of it. God knows if I can or can't. We're going to open up the UFC Baku fight card with Mohammed Usman taking on Hamdy Abdelwahab. Mohammed Usman is 10-4 in his career. He's 3-2 in his last 5. He is on a 2-fight skid. He's taking on Hamdy Abdelwahab. He is 4-0-1 in his entire career, which means he's 4-0-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that controversial win over Jamal Pogues. We all know Mohammed Usman by now. He's not great at fighting. He's just not very good at fighting. He's a high-level athlete. He competed at a very big stage in college and football. He's got speed. He's got power. He doesn't really have that clean fight technique, but he's improving. He's putting in the time. He's putting in the effort. He's got some cardio. So while he's not great at this exact sport, he is an athlete that is putting in the time, putting in the effort, and that has afforded him some wins at this level. He is coming off that loss to Thomas Peterson, where he was just kind of a step behind. He's taking on Hamdy Abdelwahab. On paper, this guy is an Olympic wrestler. Not just Junior Olympics, real Olympics, 2016. In real life, in execution, he's kind of short. He's a little bit fat. He'll wrestle early, and then he'll get tired and stop. And that's what we saw in his last fight. That's what we have seen in previous fights. He has been given sort of easy matchups. He's been given fighters that can't really defend takedowns. He's been given fighters that he can dictate where the fight goes. And considering he's an Olympic wrestler, he should be doing a lot more of that. He's technically undefeated. You'll see that there's an 0-1 in there. That's because he's a straight-up steroid user. He used the steroids. They caught him using the steroids. They suspended him. They overturned that win. Since then, he came back, and he's coming off that win over Jamal Pogues, where, frankly, kind of an interesting scorecard. He won that first round and then just stopped wrestling, even though the wrestling is what got him that first-round win. A lot of people feel that he got a gift decision in his last fight. I am kind of one of those people. I don't fully disagree with that breakdown. I think Hamdy didn't do enough to very cleanly win that fight. The first round was straightforward. The next two were not. He just basically entirely stopped wrestling. He got tired. He turned into a human speed bag. His head was getting hit up. He was getting punched. And on paper, you would say, okay, the Usman brother isn't great. We have an Olympic wrestler on the other side. This should be clean cut, but it's not because, as I mentioned, Hamdy gasses, Hamdy slows down, Hamdy stops using wrestling. Mohammed Usman is big. He is strong. He is fast. He's got good striking. That's in air quotes. So I'm going to pick Hamdy here because that first round will be his. He will win the first round without a doubt because he does have enough cardio in the first. He does have the rest. So he's going to win the first round. We just need him to win one more round of the next two. And I think he can do that. If he shows up in a little bit better shape than he was in his last fight, he should be able to do that. So Hamdy's going to be the pick. I think this is a razor-thin decision. I think we end up in a fight here that ends up maybe a split decision, maybe a 29-28. We're not going to get a 30-27 out of Hamdy, and he's not going to finish. So that leads you to the logical conclusion of, hey, maybe we do a plus 3.5 bet on Mohammed Usman. And I went to go place that bet, and it was minus 200, which means the sports books are on to it too. Hamdy's going to be the pick. I am not spending any money on this dude. A minus 160 favorite with barely any cardio at this weight class. He's too short for this division. He doesn't have he's got takedowns and then he tires out. So I'm going to pick him to win because he just needs to win 2 rounds and he's definitely going to win the first. But I'm not going to spend any money on him. He is $8,600 in DraftKings Fantasy. I don't think it's worth it unless he has way more cardio than he has in the past. I do not think it's worth it. So Hamdy's going to be the pick. I'm not going to spend the money in DraftKings Fantasy. But if you do want to check out any of the other bets, the picks, the round line lean, we have every single round line outlined, ready to go. And we give you our lean, whether we think it's going to be over or under. Check it all out now. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. It's freaking $10 for an entire month's worth of access. And as I mentioned, you're going to get 2 pay-per-views if you sign up today. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these comments related to this fight. You guys are talking about different fights here. I can throw money on an fat F, okay? The U.S. man loses a boring fight. He's talking about Mohammed Usman. He's bigger than Kamaru, but not as gifted or athletic. That is a true statement, but he is still a high-level athlete. I mean, he played football at a very high level. That doesn't just happen by accident, and you can't get there just by being big. Hamdy, round 3 decision. Everybody's doing the over here. Tough call, but I think Usman takes a split. The problem is it's not on his side of the world. So if there is a split, I do not think it'll go his way. So I'm going to disagree with Usman taking a split, but potentially a split for sure. This effort's going to sit on him all 3 rounds. I mean, you guys are kind of back and forth on the pick here, but same general sentiment. Kamaru said his brother is unsure if he wants to continue fighting or not. His heart might not be in the game, or he's going to give it his all if this is his last fight. Hard to trust Mohammed Usman. I don't disagree. Let's go ahead and move on. Next up at UFC Baku, we have Tagir Ulanbekov taking on Azat Maksum. Tagir Ulanbekov is 16-2 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He is on that 3-fight win streak. He's taking on Azat Maksum, 15-1 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that first ever career loss, which was a back-and-forth war to Charles Johnson. Tagir Ulanbekov, as we all know, is part of that Khabib Nurmagomedov fight camp. So he's training 24/7. He's allowed no joy in his life whatsoever, and this is all he does. And he fights like the rest of them. He's going to come forward. He's got good enough striking. He's going to try to slow the pace down. He's going to be enormous for the weight class, and he's going to look to wrestle. That's a Tagir Ulanbekov fight. He is very grappling heavy. He has 15 takedowns in his 5-fight UFC career. He's not the fastest guy, but he is insanely strong. He does a great job slowing the pace because he's not very fast, grabbing onto you, slowing that down, getting you to the ground, and then just working from there. He is coming off that pretty cool win over Clayton Carpenter, where he had Clayton against the cage, looked at DC, through the cage, said, "This one's for you," and then got the takedown. He literally did do it for him. He's taking on Azat Maksum. Azat Maksum, unlike Tagir, is very fast. He is dangerous as well. He's a pretty well-rounded guy overall. He can pick people apart on the feet. He can try to out-wrestle them. He can drop them with power. The speed is absolutely incredible. He's one of the more talented guys in this weight class. His composure is impressive as well. If you run through the tape study, you'll see that he's beaten every kind of fighter. He's beaten wrestlers. He's beaten strikers. He's done all of the things, but he is coming off that loss to Charles Johnson, and it was an interesting loss because he almost had Charles finished on multiple occasions. On multiple occasions, he almost had Charles finished. But then Charles sort of gutted it out and then took over the striking. The big sort of red flag here is that Charles was able to wrestle a little. He took him down twice. So if Charles Johnson, after almost being finished, was able to take down Azat Maksum twice, I can't imagine what Tagir is going to do. And yes, there is some MMA math in there, but I just think Tagir is going to be too physically big. I think he will be able to get a hold of Azat, which will slow him down. And then once he slows him down, I think he's just going to be able to take over and grind and do what he does. We just watched Tagir win a decision over a pretty young, exciting prospect, and I think this is going to be more of the same. I didn't do the stats slide, so let's take a look at that, and I think we're all going to be on the same page here. Tagir Ulanbekov should be able to get the win. He is a minus 450 favorite. The reality is, I do think those odds are a bit wide, but I do have a bet on Tagir. I've got him in a little bit of a parlay. I'll give you the other half of that parlay in a minute here when we get to it. Tagir should win. He should be able to just out physical here as long as he doesn't get stuck behind the speed. But he is $9,300, and that's a tough price point because you're not going to get a finish. You need to rely on him to get the takedowns, to grind, to hang out on top. And he's going to get 5 points per takedown. If he... It's just tricky. I'm torn on the $9,300 because if he gets the takedowns, and Azat gets up and he scrambles because Azat's a good scrambler. And then we get another takedown and another takedown. That's 5 points each. And then that's going to be worth it. But if he just gets one takedown per round, now all of a sudden it's not going to be worth it because he's going to score 15 points from takedowns, a little bit from control, and then he's not going to be worth that money. I don't think he's going to get a finish either. So I don't think Tagir is going to be worth this $9,300, but there is a world where he could score really well. I think you should have some exposure to him. Tagir Ulanbekov is going to be the pick. If you do want to check out all the picks, all the bets, all the tools, the artificial intelligence, and every single thing that we offer, go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 for an entire month. Let's go ahead and take a look at the comments. Okay. Given what Tagir did to Carpenter, I feel pretty comfortable with Tagir being able to get the takedowns here. Clayton Carpenter was a great win for Tagir. That was an absolute spectacular win for Tagir. A young prospect, an athletic kid, fast, strong, all the things. We have this comment, Jake the L.O.Zer. Hey, Big Ange, do you believe rigging is possible if it goes to a decision? The UFC is going to a war zone. Maybe a warlord needs that giant parlay to hit. Anything's possible. Certainly outside of America, anything is possible. But what happens when they go to these other countries, and I see a few of you have called in to break down this card with me, you need your camera on. There's not a world where I throw you on here with no camera on. You need a camera, A-V-E-R-E-E. In America, yeah, there you are, you fucking weasel. I'll get you in the next fight. In America, you guys can hate the judges and you can hate the refs and all that, and obviously things can be corrupt, but they are government employees. The UFC doesn't hire them. So when people are like, oh, the UFC rigged it, the UFC did not rig it. It's possible that a judge is corrupted, but they don't work for the UFC. When they go international, it depends what country they go to. I doubt Azerbaijan has a matured, established athletic commission, which means the UFC is bringing the referees and is bringing the judges. So the UFC is employing them. I'm not going to say that as an objective fact for this region because I'm not 100% sure, but that is what happens when they leave America and they go to countries that don't have the established athletic commission. So it is very possible that something could be rigged. I highly doubt it, though. I mean, how many times have we seen just like the most insane decision, the most insane stoppage? We dwell on it when we do, but the reality is the number of fights they put on, it doesn't happen as often as it would indicate based off comment sections. Let's see. Hometown cooking on judging has not at all been a solid betting strategy. I completely agree. What else we got? Super chat from Flexo, $2 Canadian. RIP Scout, heads up Angelo. Remember, stay black. Well, I'm not black. I wouldn't mind it. I'll tell you that right now. But I appreciate that. And honestly, I got a little choked up. It's because I was looking at the freaking pictures of him. Because when I'm not looking at pictures of him, life is normal. Like, I'm not like, oh, it's quiet in here, you know. When you look at the pictures, it's like, oh, Jesus, oh, my God. So that's tough. And my daughter is struggling. My oldest daughter, this fucking ripped me to fucking pieces. My oldest daughter, when we told her, was just laying in his bed, like sobbing. And I was like, oh, my God. So it's touch and go. I'll be fine. I appreciate you very much. Let's go ahead and break down this next fight. And we've got you on, Avery. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. About yourself?
I'm doing well. Are you prepared to break down this fight? You don't look.
I was gonna ask, can I just come back? I don't really like breaking down women's fights because they're all shit. So would it be okay if I came back?
That's what the chat is for. Put in the chat what fight you want, and then I'll throw you on.
Oh fuck! I didn't. Okay, my bad. I didn't. Okay, my bad. It's been a while since I've done this. Okay.
All right. Good riddance.
All right. Bye.
It's funny because I have gotten a lot of DMs and stuff from people saying, I want to hop on for this fight, for that fight. So there's random people waiting for specific fights. If you just hop on without telling me what fight, guess what? You're just going to be thrown into it. Next up, at UFC Baku, we have Irina Alekseeva taking on Klaudia Sygula. I am incapable of saying Sygula without a redneck accent, just like when I break down Talita Alencar. We have Irina Alekseeva. She is only 5-2 in her career, which means she's 3-2 in her last 5. She is coming back after a 2-year layoff. She's taking on Klaudia Sygula. 6-2 in her career, 4-1 in her last 5. She's coming off that TKO loss to Melissa Mullins, and Melissa Mullins is a name that you're going to hear very often because Irina's last fight 2 years ago was also a loss to Melissa Mullins. Irina Alekseeva is a world Sambo champion. has the credentials. But remember earlier when we broke down the Olympic wrestler who doesn't wrestle because he's a fat slob that gets tired? We kind of got more of the same here. Irina Alekseeva is a world Sambo champion. If you don't know what Sambo is, it's like a mix of MMA and judo. It's like there is striking and grappling. It's like, it's not full-blown striking, but it's a straight-up combat sport. And typically speaking, Sambo transitions pretty well into MMA. But that's not how she fights. She literally just walks forward and wings punches from her hips. She'll walk you down like a zombie. She'll throw wild. And then if you end up entangled, she'll look to toss and grapple. She's got some solid submissions. She's got some takedowns, and she does take risks. But she trusts her grappling off her back. So if you do take her down, she's just going to lay there and throw her legs up and play that game instead of trying to work her way to her feet. She's taking on Klaudia Sygula. Powerful striker. She's not afraid to engage at all. She prefers to dance around and then find the clinch where she's going to throw uppercuts. She'll throw knees. She'll work in there. She's got heavy hands. She's got good volume. She can grapple as well, but she's not great. And if she gets taken down, similar story. She's hanging out, looking for submissions instead of creating space, instead of scrambling, instead of getting out of there. So she's just going to give up minutes. She's coming off that finish loss to Melissa Mullins. To me, this is a pretty straightforward breakdown. Wait, Chris Reilly, what fight did you say you won the breakdown? Melissa Mullins. Okay. To me, it's a pretty straightforward breakdown. Irina is going to come forward. Irina's going to get in Claudia's face. Claudia's not going to like it. Claudia's going to clinch. When she clinches, she'll get taken down or tossed because that's what Irina does. I mean, that's going to be the breakdown. Irina's going to be the pick here. She's a considerable favorite at minus 275. I don't love that because minus 275 means you have to lay out $275, almost $300 to get $100 in profit. That's a lot of money to spend on a woman with an Ivan Drago haircut who hasn't fought in 2 years. Not doing it. I'm not spending that money. I think the over on the round might make some sense here, but we just watched Klaudia get finished. You got to leave this one alone. You got to leave it alone. This is not the card to be playing games with the lady overs. If we take a look at DraftKings Fantasy, $8,900, this is a weird situation where that could be worth it because Irina Alekseeva does have the opportunity to get takedowns. She wings punches on her feet. We saw her opponent get finished. Irina can do, there's a lot of weird stuff here where we could end up with an Irina finish or we could end up with a terrible decision. She hasn't fought in 2 freaking years. Who knows what she looks like? And not only has she not fought in 2 years, she only has 7 fights in her entire career. You probably just got to stay away, but I wouldn't be shocked if some wild shit happened in this fight. If you do want to check out every pick, every bet, every tool, everything that we offer, just go to WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, it's $10 for quite literally everything. That's an entire month. You're going to get the safety parlay, all the picks and the bets for UFC 317 next week, UFC 318 2 weeks after that, and the 2 fight nights in between. Let's go ahead and take a look at the comments. 5-2 versus 6-2. These are crafty vets. Fortunately for the women's division, that actually may qualify as a crafty vet. Irina with long hair is very nice. He's talking about her attractiveness, and I don't completely disagree with you. Irina can get it. Okay, these are not the comments we're looking for here. We're kind of looking for actual fight breakdowns. You literally told everyone to type which fight. Yes, I did. He's talking about in the Discord. I said, if you want to hop on the stream, put in the chat what fight you want to break down. But Avery shows up, clueless, not ready, didn't type it out. But he did tell me which one he wanted. Since then, we have a $4.99 super chat from Jafar Raza. Hey, Ange, I'm super sorry to hear about your dog. My cat is really sick now, and we think he may go in the next day or 2. We grew up with him. And, dude, it's sad as fuck, man. It's sad as fuck. People who don't have, pets or... There's different ways that people have pets. We let the dogs sleep in the bed. They are literally part of the family. They sleep in the bed. They're part of everything that we do. Some people treat dogs like dogs. You live outside. You sleep outside you sleep in the crate, and they treat them like dogs, which is fine. That's how you do it. We don't do it that way. So when you treat it like a family member and you have it for 13 years, I've known my dogs longer than I know my kids. So when I have them for 13 years and you lose your pet, it's fucking tough, especially when the kids grew up with him. That's all they've ever known. So it's been tough. I'm sorry to hear about your cat. Hopefully you don't have to make a decision. Best case scenario, at some point, whenever it's time, because it's unfortunately inevitable that our pets will go before us. Whenever it's time, hopefully your cat just goes to bed and that's it. My buddy, one of my best friends, his dog was 16, a 16-year-old husky, and she was fine, like no health issues, nothing. And one day she just walked outside, laid down, and that was it. It was like the most peaceful. Nobody had to make a decision, no heartbreaking. Like, I don't know if you've ever done it. Like, we had to take the dog to the vet and like do it. And it was, it was tough. Sorry to hear about your cat. Thank you for the super chat. Genuinely appreciate it. Christopher Reilly, welcome. How you doing?
Angelo, how are you, man? It's been a minute.
Good.
Good to see you. Talk to you. Sorry to hear about your dog, dude.
Yeah,
that
it sucks. It does,
dude.
suck.
You don't need to apologize to anyone. If someone doesn't get it, then screw them, man.
Well,
I'm in the same boat.
I just expected to be off, so I was like, let me give everybody a heads up why I might be off. So
no, it's understandable. Like, I had to go through it myself with my 16-year-old dog in December, and it sucks, dude. I couldn't look at pictures of him either, so I would have lost
the
it.
pictures are the pictures are tough. And then my oldest is like, when we told her, she was obviously devastated because she was like, we got 2 kids, 2 dogs, and the kids are definitely attached to a different dog. And my oldest was attached to the older dog. And when we told her, she was devastated. And we told her after volleyball. So like, when we get home, you got to take a shower. She's like, no, I have to do something first. We're like, what? And she was like, I have pictures of him on my iPad. I want to print them. So she her brain was like, I need it. So she printed all these pictures and like pinned them up on her wall. And it's like, oh man, I love that you did that. But now you have to look at those pictures all the time and it's going to make you fucking sad. So it is what it is.
Yeah. For a short period of time, man. Eventually, you know how it goes. Time heals all wounds, right? I mean, it's a shitty decision to make, but I'm sure you made the right one, right? So it's all you can do.
Yeah, we have peace in I feel like we timed it well, meaning he lived as long as he could live before he started to suffer.
Dude, dogs go down. We didn't do it. They go quick, man.
That's what happened.
Yeah. Same with mine. Like 1 week, it was like, okay, brought him in. And it's just like, what happened in a 1 week span? And it's just like, yeah, you kind of know. And at that point, it's just kind of cruel to keep him around because it's like, what's the end game here? Yeah, keep him around. Yeah, to live a shit life. No. That's just part of being a dog owner. It's the worst part of being a dog owner. That's for sure.
Because it's inevitable. That's quite literally what happened. Where I was in New York for work, and then my wife was like, "Tell me what's going on." I had to fly home early because I was like, and it was just quick. When I left, the dog he's not fine, but like we weren't this close. So it is what it is. How's life outside of that?
Dude, oh man, I've been out of town and I just got back last week. I'm back in Vegas and it sucks, man. It is so hot and like it's miserable. I have cabin fever. It's like the opposite of a snow town. It's like you can't do anything. You can't even. It was 108 today, and
yeah, that's tough. I'll be there next week.
You're coming out here for the pay-per-view one, 117. Yeah, we'll have to get together again. Yeah, but, dude, yeah. Do some indoor activities.
Yeah. There won't be much walking. Yeah, there won't be a lot of walking.
But so check it out. I got small take, and I guess I kind of had a question about the last fight too. So
sure.
One thing I do usually is I like to look at all you guys' on the premium. I take a look at all you guys' picks and I try to see kind of like correlated things. Well, one on Irina that I had a question. I use your tape index, okay? Just started doing that. You got to have Fight Pass to do it. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get obviously it's only the UFC fights, so I wasn't able to watch Klaudia's fight. She only had one. And I kept getting an error all day. And I guess, and I know there's a lot of variables going on in this one, but my question is like, do we think she's going to be able to like keep it standing for a minute? Because if she
Klaudia?
does,
she's got heavy hands. Yeah.
Heavy hand. Well, what like something I was looking at with Irina, her strike line is low. And I watched a couple of her fights and this chick throws kicks. And like, that is something you love when you're looking at strike lines. And for people who don't know, because I haven't been on this show for a while, I used to set the strike lines before all the other sites did. I was the OG of the line setting for the SIG strike, so I have a background in this. And I do really well with it too. And I was looking at Irina. I'm like, you know what? With the way she throws, I know she's got that sambo like background.
Yeah.
But I just think like dude, her line's set at 45. And it's like, dude, this fight goes to 3 rounds. She's going to fly over that easy but like you said, there's a lot of unknowns. And I don't know if she's going to be able to like submit her or this fight gets finished or something like that. So that's not really the one I'm targeting. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you about the fight that we're on.
Sure. Let me show you. Let me change the share. I'm on the website. This is the fight simulator. Let's go ahead and see what her strike line is.
Yeah, you know what? I was kind of messing with this last week too, trying to figure it out. I appreciate the tutorial.
Here's a live tutorial. So under DraftKings in the menu, we went to simulator. I hit run simulator. So it's just taking every fighter on the card. It is running these fights 100,000 times because that's what we established here. So now I'm going to pick my fighter. Who did you?
We'll go for Irina first. I'm curious what it says on her.
Irina, where the hell is she?
Irina, whatever.
Irina Alekseeva. So DraftKings fantasy points, the average in the wins and the losses is 31. We care about significant strikes. This is saying 47.17 is the average. What was the strike line?
It was 45.
Yeah, that's dead on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious if they're using something like this now. I mean, everyone's pretty universal. Okay. Well, then let's go ahead and take a look at the Mullins fight with Darya.
Let's go ahead and break this down. Next up. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Let's go to the next fight.
Yeah, I got to hit my my radio voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, do I have Melissa Mullins? Did I break this down correct? Oh,
we had the slide. You went backwards.
Yeah, no, that's why I was like, wait, what the hell am I doing? That's what the issue was. All right. Next up at UFC Baku, we have Darya Zheleznyakova taking on Melissa Mullins. Darya is 9-2 in her career. She is 3-2 in her last 5. She's coming off that submission loss to Aylin Perez. She's taking on Melissa Mullins. 7-1 in her career. 4-1 in her last 5. She's coming off that bounce back win over Klaudia Sygula. Darya is a fun striker. She likes to come forward. She'll throw everything at you. She's got big, heavy 1-2s. She'll follow that up with just a kick to the body. She's got heavy knees. She'll throw things in clinches. She loves to just walk people down. She'll outwork people. Everything she throws is with intent. She has no issues whatsoever with a firefight, but she has absolute issues with wrestlers because she can't defend a takedown to save her life. She's taking on Melissa Mullins. Melissa Mullins is a pretty powerful striker. She's got some accuracy as well, and she's got very good composure considering she doesn't have a lot of fights. Her offensive striking is clean. It can be impressive, but she's got no head movement whatsoever, and she can be hit. She's typically looking to fight either all the way out or all the way in. She'll play at range. She'll work in the clinch, but she is technically a BJJ world champion grappler. You haven't really seen much of it. And before you tell me, well, she used that grappling to beat Darya, that was a very long time ago. This is a rematch. She was losing the striking, then ended up getting a takedown and won the fight because of the grappling. But when I break down rematches, unless it was in the last year or so, or unless the fighters are fundamentally the exact same people, I like to look at it fresh. I do think these fighters are a little bit different, but the outcome is going to be the same. Melissa Mullins is going to be the pick. I think the odds are a little sort of taken off on you there, but the reality is I think Melissa Mullins should be able to come forward, get takedowns if she needs them because of Darya's takedown defense is so poor, and if she gets the takedowns, she should be able to win this fight as she did the last time. So Melissa Mullins is going to be my pick. What do you think, Christopher?
Well, I think you broke it down really well. I actually went back and watched a couple of Melissa's fights today. And the one thing that I noticed is I watched Darya's fight against Rendon. And yeah, she does have really bad takedown defense. I'll give you that. But Rendon, in my opinion, a lot better of a wrestler and grappler than Melissa is. And then the thing that I liked about Darya, which is leading me to my bets here, is Darya is a dog. She doesn't take bottom position, and she got up. She even grabbed the fence. She don't give a shit, but she got up every single time to get up. And that was something I was like, okay, that's interesting. They're both not very good. You said that in your breakdown. Because, I mean, I don't think they're dangerous at all. They both have pitter-patter punches. Neither of them throw kicks. But again, looking at strike lines, I was like, you know what? I mean, it's a 2.5 over-under. I don't know where they're seeing the finish coming. Melissa doesn't have a finish. And I know I'm just going straight up Tapology because I haven't seen all of her fights. But, I mean, she has knockouts. She doesn't have any submissions. And I don't see where the finish is coming from. So of the bets, I was looking at the premium ones. Bet Sam had one that I really liked on Melissa Mullins. And if his bet kind of works, I'm not going to give it away. You guys, it's $10 a month and it's a good little prop on Melissa. I'll kind of put that plug out there. And that was one because I noticed you guys all had a piece of Melissa, and that's kind of why I've zoned into this one. And if she can keep it up, and both of them are just kind of like this, and to have a strike line of 29 and 35, where we've already seen Melissa have a ceiling in fights that weren't very good. You know, she hit mid 50s, and same with Darya. And I'm expecting more of the same. I don't see her because she's not going to wet blanket her. You know, she's not going to take her down and just wet blanket her for 3 rounds and then get the decision. She'll maybe get a takedown, but her takedown sucked. I mean, I wasn't impressed with anything. I think Melissa easily wins this. And the other thing I think that she has is that Darya, and this might be a stupid take, but Darya is so pale that she wears damage
and red,
bad. Like, it does not take much for her to get punched, and she just, and her face just looks beat up. And I don't know if that's really going to affect the judges. But for me, I know I'm going to ride both of their strike lines on over. And what I'm hoping for is like sites like Bet Online, because I know all the fantasy sites are already out. Bet Online will drop there tomorrow. And a trend I've noticed that I've seen with Bet Online is they might be a little higher than the fantasy sites. So while it's 35 and 29, they might put out something like maybe 38, 40, and 33 or something like that and juice it under. And if they do, I'm okay with that because I'm going to take the plus money on the above because I think both of these girls get to 50, possibly a lot higher than that. Because when you think about it, 10 strikes per round, if we're expecting this to go 3 rounds with Darya, dude, that's easy. I mean, those are some shitty ass. I mean, again, I don't know how they're going to, because we're in a new place and that does matter. So sometimes it's kind of worth noting and paying attention to the first fights to see how like they score significant strikes, because some places score it differently. You know, it's all a guy with a pen just clicking it.
Literally.
But for the most part, yeah, exactly. And for the most part, it's just like, that's going to be my lock because I'm taking these two both to go over. I'm not sure how I can't play DFS. Like, you know, I can't do the prize picks or underdog here. But if I could, I know you can take, I don't know if you can take both fighters and do their overs, but if you can, that's a great correlation play right
Underdog
there.
lets you, but prize picks does not. So a couple of things there. One, you are wrong in Melissa finished Darya when they first fought. She TKO'd her on the ground. So that's why they don't think this is necessarily going to go to a decision. That's why the decision prop is juiced. But with that being said, that was 3 years ago. And a lot has changed in 3 years. So I agree with you. I love Bet Sam's prop bet there. And this could be a sneaky fight to go to a decision where a lot of people don't think it'll go to a decision. And for a lot of people who don't fully get what Chris is saying, Chris used to set the line. So if you go to Prize Picks, you go to Underdog, and even Bet Online, and now DraftKings, they have significant strike lines. It'll say this fighter to land 30 significant strikes. And then you can bet over or under, just like if it was a round line. Chris used to set those lines for a living. That's what he did for his job, is make those lines. So now he just attacks those lines anywhere he can see him and anywhere he can find him. So it sounds like you think both of these women, the lines are low, probably because the first fight was a finish and they're expecting it to go that way again. So you like the over.
And if that's the reasoning for it, and honestly, you know what? They're just using, I don't know, they use an algorithm, and these strike lines are never that. I mean, how many times have you seen a fight be off by 50 strikes? It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember we did one like Rosas, that one girl, and she beat it by 100. Dude, Joshua Van has beat his strike line literally by 115. So it's like they're not very precise. This isn't like, you know, an NBA total or an NFL game total. So I think these are very weak, hence why Bet Online kind of limits you to doing $100 per bet, because they know better. They know they're not going to let you draw big money, but you know what? DraftKings lets you bet these now, and they let you do a lot more than $100. So there's definitely value to be had there. And then the other thing too is like, that fight, if that's what they're basing it off of, that's pretty stupid, because I mean, that fight against Rendon was last year. So there was improvements there to be made, and as much as there can be. And I just don't think Melissa's that, from what I was able to gather from the few fights that I got on the tape index, man, she's not that deadly of a fighter. She really isn't.
No, I agree. She's got a couple of, she does have some finishes, but it's a lot of it's a lot of regional fights. There was some ground and pound. She obviously finished Darya, but if you do watch that fight, she was getting lit up on the feet, which is why she needed to get it to the ground. That was 3 years ago, and Darya is obviously well prepared, hopefully well prepared. She's at least not going to be caught off guard or surprised. So I wouldn't be shocked if this fight went to a decision. The over on the round could be cool. That fun prop bet of Melissa to win by decision could be quite the payout, or the over on the strike lines. If you guys want to check out any of the bets we already have on this fight or any other fight for this card or the next 3, go to WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 for an entire month, and you can unlock every single pick, bet, and tool, the artificial intelligence, everything that we do for an entire month. That'll get UFC 317 and UFC 318. Any other parting words for us here? Is there another fight you wanted to break down?
No, dude, I'll let some other people get a chance to see. You got some guys in the comment here. Always a pleasure jumping on and catching up. And like I said, hit me up next time when you're in town. Love to meet up with you again.
Yeah, I'll be there next week, so I'll shoot you a text when I'm there.
Sounds good, dude. I'll talk to you then.
All right, I appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on.
Yep.
We got a couple of super chats. I also have 4 people right now in the queue. Luke, needs your camera on. Snow Surfer, needs your camera on. Without a camera on, you're not popping in. Couple of super chats. This is not one. This says Pierre is waiting. What has happened to Pierre? Pierre, we used to call into all these shows, happiest guy in the world, only lived a few hours south. At one point, him and I were DMing about him coming up and the grappling and training with me. I have just steadily gained weight and haven't trained as consistently as I should have, which is why that never came to fruition. But where the hell is Pierre? Where are you, buddy? I miss that positive energy. $1.99 from Obuda. R.I.P. I can't imagine Diesel. He's my best friend. I imagine that's your dog, and yeah, it's fucking awful. And the worst part, like my mother just got a rescue dog last year. The rescue dog's like 6 years old. And she was like, I love him so much that I am almost mad I got him. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, because eventually he's going to die. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, that logic is actually crazy. So like, I get it. Like you are going to outlive your pet, but like that logic, enjoy when you have them. Like, I don't look at Joey, our other dog, and like, oh, fuck, no. I'm just devastated that when it happens. So I appreciate the super chat, and hopefully you're a long way away from dealing with it. And then $9.99 from Mirelis23. Hey, Big Ange, I'm debating whether I should buy tickets for UFC 319 as my first event, or should I wait out for another Vegas pay-per-view event? What would you recommend? Is it worth going? Great fucking question. 2 things. Probably going to end up being like 5 things. 2 things. I don't know where you're from. Meaning, do you live in Chicago and this is a local event? Have you ever been to Chicago? Do you want to see Chicago? Because if you don't live there and you want to see it, and this could be a go watch the fights and explore a new city, then maybe check out Chicago, because UFC 319 has a spectacular main event. The sub part to that point is that main event may not stay intact. I mean, Khamzat Chimaev is quite literally one of the most unreliable people in the history of this sport. It's not even fucking close. So it's not crazy to think that that fight doesn't happen. But in a year of like not the biggest superstars and not these huge fight cards, we may end up with Dricus du Plessis as the biggest superstar. So that would be the case for UFC 319. The case against it is nothing is better than a fight night in Vegas. Nothing is better than a fight night in Vegas. Half the hotels have UFC stuff all over the place. There's always events. The press conference is just free. You can just go to the press conference. No tickets, it's free. The weigh-ins, you can buy tickets for the weigh-ins. And depending what UFC tickets you buy, and obviously that exists in every city, but in Vegas it's different because everybody's waiting outside T-Mobile. And then everybody spreads out, and everywhere you walk, in every hotel, there's just way more people everywhere with their UFC shirts on. And it's just, fights in Vegas are awesome. I love fights in Vegas. There's nothing better than that atmosphere because it's not just the arena. You get to walk up and down the strip, go to every hotel and enjoy it. Where when you go, and I haven't been to this arena in Chicago, but some of these other fights in other places, the arena is by itself. You like Uber to the arena, you do the fights, you go home. Where Vegas, it feels like the fights are from the minute you land to the minute you leave. There's just UFC stuff everywhere. So I'm a big Vegas fight guy. Big Vegas fight guy. So if you have a specific fight card, great. If not, 319 might be one of the best main events we've had, and it's certainly a compelling fight as long as it sticks together. Joey T, I see you join. You don't have a camera on, so until you do, you're going to sit there. Next up, at UFC Baku, we have Ismail Naurdiev taking on Yong Park. Ismail Naurdiev is 24-7 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that decision win over Bruno Silva. He's taking on Yong Park, 18-6 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that very close win over Brad Tavares. And this is one of the first fights that I broke down on this card where I was like, I think these lines are flipped. I think they're flipped. It feels like Ismail should be the favorite here. He's a pretty good fighter. He's an aggressive striker. He's a solid grappler. He's competed as a kickboxer. He's competed as a wrestler. He does struggle to put it all together in one fight inside the cage, but he has those skills. He's had a couple of stints in the UFC. The first one was from 2019 to 2020. The most recent one just kicked off last year. He had that win over the big Bruno Silva, the one with the caved-in head. He bounces between welterweight and middleweight, but he actually has more success at middleweight than he does at welterweight. Likely the weight cut is getting to him. He's taking on Yong Park. Yong Park's a well-rounded fighter. He has a nice jab. He's got good cage control, solid setups, good takedowns. He's pretty good everywhere. Like, he can do all the things, but he's not great at anything. You don't watch Yong Park and say, this guy is spectacular. You say, oh, good takedown. Oh, nice striking. He's not very dangerous. He's not amazing, but he is a guy that will grind. He will work his ass off, and he's got some pretty solid fight IQ. The most alarming thing, though, was when he was taken down, 11 times just a few fights ago. Neither one of these guys are dangerous. So we've got two guys that are pretty well-rounded, that can do all the things, but not a ton of finishing upside. So I like the over 2.5 here. I have actually parlayed that over 2.5. Pick-wise, I'm going to go with the dog. I think Ismail is going to win this fight. I recognize that Park is very, very tough. And I recognize that he's probably going to be a little bigger here, and he's good at everything. He can strike, he can grapple, he can do all this stuff. But I think his takedown defense is lacking. We saw that, and I think Naurdiev can exploit the lack of takedown defense. So the first bet here was the over 2.5. I threw that in a parlay. The second bet that I went to place but didn't because I didn't like the line was the plus 3.5. If you don't know what that is you take the underdog. They let you buy points on the judges' scorecards. The way the math floats its way out is you just need your guy to win one round. He could lose the fight, but if he wins a round. So I was going to go that direction, but that was also juiced at minus 200. So I said, let me leave it alone. I'll stick with the over 2.5. I think we end up with a decision here anyway. Naurdiev is $7,500 in DraftKings Fantasy. I think you got to do it. The reality is, I think he straight up wins this fight. I also think if he does win, he will use wrestling to do it. And $7,500 is an incredible price point in a fight or on a fight card where we have a lot of very expensive favorites. So I'm going to go with Naurdiev here. I think he gets it done. And I've got a little bit of money on that over 2.5. If you want to check out every pick, every bet, every tool, every single thing that we offer. It's not just a list of picks. It's not just a list of bets. We have quite literally interactive tools, a whole suite of them. On the website, it's only $10 for every single thing. One package. WeWantPicks.com. You'll get UFC 317, UFC 318, and the 2 fight nights in between. I'm seeing a lot of comments about I'm never betting the spread again. What was another one here? The judges are corrupt. Where's this one? And they're talking about that 3.5. So if I did place the 3.5, that means that I would need Ismail to win one single round. He could lose the next 2. He can lose a 29-28 across the board, and you get paid. But what happens many times is you end up with a 29-28, a 29-28, and then a random 30-27 that sort of tanks your whole shit. I would not worry about that here. I think this is very insanely close of a fight. I don't think this is a scorecard where we'll randomly have a screw job. And if we do have a screw job, it's not going to be against the Korean guy, or for the Korean guy. It'll be on the other side. Or what is that? Yeah, it's South Korea, right? Is that what that flag is? Whatever. You get my point. So that's the direction that I would go with this. We have a couple of comments here. Let's see. Naurdiev will be 18% owned in DFS slates. It's a slam dunk. I completely agree. He's insanely affordable. So with that price point, you can do a lot of other things with the rest of your budget if you're playing DraftKings Fantasy. Austrian Wonder Boy, that is Naurdiev if you didn't know. So people seem to be on that same side as the dog. I don't see why Park wouldn't win. He's probably going to win a decision. Why? Let's get some facts. And a $9.99 super chat. Oh, I already did this one. And I said, go to Vegas. Jacob's lock of the week will probably be a -170 favorite again. Are you a fucking retard? Are you a retard? When has Jacob's lock of the week ever been a -170, let alone again? And you spell favorite like a foreigner. Bye, nerd. Just dead wrong and stupid. Unbelievable. Where does the 3.5 come for that spread? I've explained this many times before, but let me walk you through it. Every single judge has to score every single round 10 or less. So judge 1 has 3 rounds. So for one fighter, let's say one fighter wins them all. That's 10 points for the first round, 10 for the second, 10 for the third. That's 90 points banked. His opponent will get 999. What, did I just say 90 points? Idiot. 30, that's 30 points. 10, 10, 10. And then this opponent will get 999. So 9, 18, 27. All 3 judges have to do that. So you total it up, total it up, total it up. Then you add 3.5 points to that total of everything for each individual round for each fighter. That's the math. 499 super chat from Mirales23. I live in the suburbs, not far from Chicago, but Vegas sounds better for a pay-per-view. 100%. If you live in Chicago and you get no upside of exploring a new city, go to Vegas. Go to Vegas. Now, if it's in a new city, a city you haven't been to, a fun city, an exciting one, and it's a double, 2 birds with 1 stone situation, then of course do that. But you live outside of Chicago, obviously going to a fight night, your hometown is awesome. But if you have to decide between a fight night in your town versus an actual trip, assuming money doesn't matter, take the trip, go to Vegas. Nothing compares to it. Assuming money doesn't matter. If money does matter, then yeah, do it in your hometown and life will be way more convenient as well. Next up, at UFC Baku, we have Seokhyeon taking on Oban Elliott. I'm gonna try to enunciate every letter in this guy's name because I'm not saying anything offensive, and I'm certainly not implying you should do anything to me. Seokhyeon is 11-2 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5, and this is his UFC debut after a failed attempt at a UFC debut just a couple weeks ago, taking on Oban Elliott, 12-2 in his career, 5-0 in his last 5. He is on that 8-fight win streak. Seokhyeon is, again, making his second attempt at a UFC debut. He was supposed to fight Billy Ray Goff just a few weeks ago. He couldn't get a visa. He's got his visa, assumingly. It's all sorted out, and he should show up here. Style-wise, he's a heavy-handed striker. He can work in some takedowns, but he is stiff as shit. Just real, you think he has arthritis. Wildly stiff. And because he is stiff, though, he can generate some very real power. It's just like, wow. It's not fast. It's obvious, but it is powerful. He can definitely knock you out with one punch, but you can kind of see them coming. Everything he throws is heavy as hell. Half the time, it's also wild. He just does crazy shit. He's got a decent sprawl if you shoot a takedown. I imagine those hips are heavy. He looks like he's insanely strong. But if he can't take you down and he can't land that big power, there's just nothing left. That's literally all he has is land huge power. He's taking on Oban Elliott. Oban Elliott's a pretty well-rounded guy. He's got plenty of cardio, good footwork, a lot of tools in his bag. When he's striking, he wants to dance around on the outside. Then he'll fire off overhands, work his way in. He's fast. He's athletic. He's got some flashy stuff. There's some good takedown defense. If he is taken down, he does a good job creating scrambles, working to his feet. He's not chasing submissions. He's not doing any of that nonsense like we talked about earlier with some of the ladies. And he's coming off that win over Basel Hafez where he was losing that fight. And then he found that big knockout. And obviously a knockout could happen here. Ko could find the knockout. He's got giant power. But I think he's going to need more than just big power to win this fight. Oban Elliott is too mobile. Oban Elliott has too many tools in his bag, and he's not just going to be standing there waiting for a giant overhand to hit. So Oban Elliott's going to be the pick. This line is actually not as crazy as I thought it was going to be. I thought Oban Elliott was going to be this week's -900. And on this card, we honestly don't have the chaos. And maybe some people felt burned on the last card because of fucking dumbass Umar Sy. Maybe that's why. But we don't have a huge 700 and 800 favorite. We have the biggest favorite on this card, minus 455. And I think he should be the biggest favorite. I think if he was minus 700, it would be somewhat reasonably priced. I think Oban Elliott sort of styles here. I also think he can find a finish. If he can't find a finish, Ko might. So the under 2.5 makes sense. I placed a bet on the under 2.5. It is a plus money bet, and that was on the board. You got a push notification to your phones when that happened. If we take a look at DraftKings Fantasy, we got $9,500 versus $6,700. The only way the $6,700 is worth it is if he does something. I don't think he's going to do anything. I think he's quite literally going to be waiting too long, trying to find any big power, and he's not going to find it. So I don't think he's worth the money. I do think Oban may be worth that money. I think we can get a finish here. I think he could find it. And with some of the dogs that we talked about earlier, we could afford Oban Elliott. If you want to check out every pick, every bet, every tool, just like the one I told you about, you can do so now. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click a nice little button at the top that says Become a Member. Once you click that, it unlocks everything. It's $10. You have access to everything. The entire website is unlocked. There's no tiers. You're never going to click on something where it says, oh, you need to add the... No. All of it, every tool, every pick, everything. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's for an entire month. That'll get you UFC 317, 318, the 2 fight nights in between. Couple of comments here. Fucking Joey, do you not listen? I said turn your camera on. Your camera's not on. There it is, you fucking muppet. I'll throw you on for the next fight. Unbelievable. Fucking, he's sending me private chats. Just sitting there with his camera off, not understanding what's going on. It's unbelievable, really. $5 super chat from M. Humongous. Omar Sy is the reason France is my least favorite African country. He didn't burn my parlay, but he should have. Yeah, the guy fucking sucks. What an absolute... Dude, how are you that physically gifted and that fucking soft? I would have preferred if Umar Sy came out there guns blazing and got caught and knocked out. He went out like a man. That happens. These are fist fights. But he went out there hanging out on the outside, pitter patter, just one strike. Ooh, don't hit me. Get the fuck, you fucking soft dweeb bitch. And now the worst part about Umar Sy. Here's the fucking worst part. He lost to a 40-year-old because he was afraid to engage because he's a soft pussy. He won the second round using grappling. Fine, not beautiful, but he was winning that second round. Decided not to do more of the same in the third round, so he's a soft pussy and stupid. The worst part is, in his next fight, we're all going to remember that he's a stupid soft pussy, and we're not going to bet him. We're going to fade him, and he's going to win in spectacular fashion. He's going to be worth. That's what's going to happen. So we should hate his guts. He's just fucking... The same dumb shit happened when William Gomez, we're like, he's just a point striker. He's soft. He's a nerd. Then William Gomez fights fucking... who's that wildly dangerous dude? He ends up winning a decision he probably shouldn't have won, but we saw some actual aggression out of him. He looked pretty good. Joe Anderson Brito. He looked pretty great. We bet him on his next fight. Just lets us all down because he sucks. Thanks for the $5. We could all just... unite in our hate for Umar Sy. He looked like Patchy Mix. You're right. Except, no, you know what? It wasn't as bad as Patchy Mix because in the second round, Umar grappled and won because he grappled. What was insane is he didn't try that again in the third round. How do you have that success and then not do it again? What did your corner say? Oh, you look too good in this round. Don't do that again. You might accidentally win this fight as a minus 700 favorite. You fucking idiot. All these comments are about anti-France. If you're French and you're watching, I'm sorry. I don't have a problem with the French people. You're not going to produce fist fighters. That's not even Cyril Gane. He's talented, but he's not a fighter. He's just a talented guy. A lot of Oban here. Somebody said, "Where's the Oban?" Somebody said something about Oban's overrated and everybody jumped down his throat. So a lot of Oban here. That's the breakdown. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I did not. Let's go ahead and bring on Joey T. How you doing, Joe? Joe, you're going to have to wait for the mid promo here. Guys, If you haven't gotten the $50 promo, go get the $50 promo. Go to wewantpicks.com/bets. Use the affiliate links. Sign up with any one of our sportsbook partners. We'll send you $50 as a thank you. It's that simple. You use the link, we get paid. I slice off some of that money. I give it right back to you. If you're not a premium member, check it out. I know the channel's name is We Want Picks, so you assume that premium membership is just a list of picks. That's not what the fuck it is. I promise you that. Premium membership has all the picks, all the bets, and tools, actual interactive tools that were coded. We have a developer who coded tools from scratch and put them on the website. One of those tools is the fight simulator. It simulates fights 100,000 times. If you're just skipping around this video, rewind to when Chris Reilly was on. In the beginning of that breakdown, I show you the fight simulator live, and we looked at some strike lines. We also have a tool like the tape index. If you like to watch tape yourself and do your own tape study, use the tape index. It give you every fighter on every card now and in the future. You can go ahead and see that full list of their fight history. If there's a red play button, click it, the video pops up, you can watch the tape. We have a DraftKings optimizer that will build DraftKings fantasy lineups for you with a beginner mode. All of that is available for UFC 317, UFC 318, the Derek Lewis Fight Night in Nashville, and UFC Baku this weekend. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's $10 for all of it. One package, no upsell, no bullshit. I will be at UFC 317. I'm not going to be at the actual fights. I'll be home for the fights, but we're going to be in Vegas on Thursday, and on Friday we'll be drinking out. We'll be hanging out. We'll be going to UFC X. We is me and my wife. If you see us, say hi. Say hi to me. I mean, she's mean. You might not want to look her in the eyes. You might turn to stone. But I'll buy you a drink. I appreciate every last one of you. None of this shit exists without people watching, without people like Joey T and OG Joey T. Been watching this from the beginning. Now he's doing his own thing. He calls in Bet Sam. Similar path. Dude started watching, started to do his own thing. So I appreciate all of you, whether you're a premium member, whether you just watch and you hit like every now and then, whether you comment, even if you don't, and you just watch. I appreciate you, and I can show my appreciation at UFC 317 by buying you a drink. Thank you all for being here. I will be filming a vlog, so watch out, because it's a pay-per-view. Pay-per-views get vlogs. And the vlogs get mail day. So if you want me to read a letter, open a package on the vlog, throw it in a video, share it with the world, send it to P.O. Box 406 in Prosper, Texas, 75078. Joseph, how the hell are you, pal?
I'm doing good, my brother. I heard about the news. I'm sorry for your loss, my boy.
Thank you.
I saw how close everyone was to the dog, and the dog's adorable. So especially for your kid's first time, you know, it had to be hard.
That was tough. The kids, because they've never experienced, like, you know, it's our first dog that's died. I've had dogs die, but they weren't mine, right? It was your kid and whatever. But this is my first dog that died, and my oldest hasn't experienced any of it.
Oh shit!
And she was like, she would just like lay with him and like just draw him pictures for no reason. Like, she loved him, and so, you know, that she's. Watching how hard she's taking it is making it harder for me. Yeah. It's like, I can't just, you know, it's harder for me to just move on because she's fucking all still broken up. So I mean, it is what it is. It's quite literally the circle of life. Like, it's not, it's devastating, but it's not tragic.
Yeah.
Like, meaning he wasn't hit by a car. It wasn't out of nowhere. The dog's fucking old as shit and was sick. So it's sad as hell, but you know, it is what it is. I just can't look at pictures. That's what
I get the same way. So
ruins me every time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's going on with you?
Not much. Just staying busy working. Like I said, I'm doing my own little thing. But hey, I always tune in. So I got to show support. These guys always the one that got me into it. I used to do some bullshit DFS. And I remember the first talk I had at Angelo. He's like, motherfucker, if you want to win early, play your double ups and 50s. I'm like, Dan, if you want to scramble yourself into the big contest. I'm like, all right, most def. Did all that. I finally hit one. You know, thanks for all them. They already
65 grand, right?
Almost 100,
something like that. Oh yeah,
I think it was hit or miss. But fucking taxes want to take over 10K for that bullshit. But fuck.
He's lucky it wasn't more.
Oh,
plug your shit. You do your own thing. Plug it.
Yeah. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do videos for Pub Sports Radio, and we go live for the fight card that we break down on Tuesday, and we're always live on Saturday. So
you're competing with me head to head on Tuesdays? Yeah, your fucking mind, Joe.
No, we do our video early. I think we drop at 8 p.m. It's a pre-recorded.
Dickhead. It's the same.
I'm always in the chat, though. I'm like, I got to show support. Come on, man.
Josh does that, too. He started doing his live streams head to head. And I'm proud to say our views are better. So
yeah.
At least for now. At least
especially when Jacob goes live. Sort of like, well, where are all the followers? I'm thinking, I know where the fuck they're
at. Oh, because you're talking about actual fight companions?
Yeah, when he used to go live in his room and shit, I'm like, yeah, Jacob's gonna have like 500-600 more. Like, fuck, we can't get him out there.
His fight companions are pretty wild.
Yeah.
You got any last words before we break down this fight?
No, sir. Let's get to it.
All right. Next up at UFC Baku, we have Mohammed Naimov taking on Bogdan Grad. Mohammed Naimov, 12-3 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming out with a decision win over Khan Offley. He's taking on Bogdan Grad, 15-2 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He is on a 4-fight win streak, which indicates that this should be kind of a close fight, right? We have two guys with very similar records. Neither one of them has been absolutely running through the universe, but for some reason we have a 3-1 favorite here. Mohammed Naimov is a pretty well-rounded guy. He prefers to strike, but he can wrestle if he needs to. He's pretty fast. He's athletic. He can be flashy. He wants to plot forward. He'll throw some combinations. He'll close that distance. Then he can clinch up, potentially work in some grappling. He's coming off that win over Khan Offley, where he was just a little better everywhere. Right? A little bit better striker, a little bit better grappler. Nothing was amazing, but he was better, and he won the fight. He's taking on Bogdan Grad. Bogdan Grad, very similar in that he's a well-rounded guy. He's got good striking. His striking is very straightforward. He sticks to jabs. He's got nice setups. He's not chasing anything. He's got heavy kicks as well. He'll invest in those legs early to try to slow you down. Then he'll work in some wrestling. He'll attempt multiple takedowns. He'll focus on control more than submissions. And he's coming off that win over Lucas Alexander, where he had a wrestle-heavy game plan. And despite losing early, he was able to get it done in the second. And this is a tricky breakdown because I think this is exactly like Mohammed Naimov's last fight against Khan Offley, where he's just a little bit better everywhere. I think he's just a little bit better everywhere. But he doesn't hunt for finishes. So we're going to have a guy that should be a little bit better everywhere, winning the minutes, but he's not going to be putting anybody away. He's not going to be looking to put somebody away. So we're just going to be biting our nails the whole time because Bogdan's not a quitter. Bogdan will scramble. Bogdan will make it tough. Bogdan will work around. And if Bogdan wins this fight, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. So Naimov is going to be the pick here. But I think Bogdan is a good underdog, quite literally for the fact that Naimov doesn't find, like he has... If you look at his record, he's got a couple of finishes. One was against chinny-ass Jamie Malarkey, and the other was a freak leg injury against Eric Silva that happened in like 4 seconds, so that doesn't count. Other than that, Naimov is not hunting for finishes, and if he doesn't try to get Bogdan out of there, he's just going to keep giving Bogdan the opportunity to get a come-from-behind victory like he got in his last fight. I'm going Naimov. What are you doing with this, Joey T?
I prefer to dog or pass because one thing I've noticed about Bogdan, he is 4-0 since going down to 145. I don't know how he fought 155 so long, being so tiny, but yeah, Bogdan Grad didn't look that good in round 1 versus Lucas Alexander. I thought Alexander was going to get him out of there, but he showed start of round 2 how tough and durable he really can be once he does find the range and put a good pace on somebody. Naimov's no killer. Is he better everywhere? I do believe he's better everywhere, but he also is hittable. Bogdan throws about 6 overall significant strikes per minute, and I do think he can potentially mix it in his own takedowns. And we've seen if Naimov gets his back taken, I'm not comparing Bogdan Grad to Lima because Lima's just a freak of nature. And the UFC gave him a nice little good prospect in this next matchup. I'm actually excited for that one. I do think Bogdan Grad could potentially maybe get Naimov out of there late, maybe round 3 if Naimov does slow down. He does, like I said, in the Lima fight, he slowed down terribly. And I think Bogdan Grad's alive. I'd rather do dog or pass, but if you're on the Naimov side, I prefer it as a bet, but not for DFS. I don't think he's going to score that well. But Naimov as a dog, I'll prefer him as a dog play, but it's a big favorite, and I'm passing.
Yeah, listen, I get it. I have a little bit of a bet with Naimov in it because, like I said, I think he's just going to be a little better everywhere. Yeah. I don't think he's going to run through Grad, but I think he'll win the minutes. Dude, there's a lot of comments about you.
I know.
Joey's locked up. They're talking because you look like you're in fucking prison. Free Joey.
I'm in the man cave.
Free Joey. This is a better view than last time. There's no like.
Oh yeah, I was on my couch and like, where the fuck are you at?
You had like a sheet draped from the ceiling. No, this is a much better. This is a much better.
You're like, where the fuck are you at?
But the Free Joey movement is in full effect right now, which is absolutely fantastic. For DraftKings Fantasy, I don't know if Naimov is going to be worth that $8,800 because he doesn't find finishes. If he does wrestle, he won't do it till rounds 2 or 3. Bogdan at $7,400. If you're anywhere near that side, then that's going to make a ton of sense, and you should probably throw him in a DraftKings Fantasy lineup. If you want to check out what the optimizer has to say, what the fight simulator has to say, go to WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. You can unlock every single one of those tools, every pick, every bet, the cheat sheet, all of it, whether it's betting, fantasy, whatever you need. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. $10. Includes UFC 317, 318, the 2 fight nights in between. Unmute. Why'd you mute?
Oh, my phone was ringing. I had to turn that.
Oh, gotcha. Down. We got a couple of chats here. He said, Grad is not a 5'0" dwarf. I agree, which will make this fight a little bit more competitive. I'll say this right now. 2nd or 3rd round sub by Grad for Heat Override, plus 3,000. Naimov is definitely overrated from Will. Yep. I agree. There's a little bit of overrated there. Jory King says, I'm going to hit a lung collapse dab for Scout tonight. I appreciate you, dog. And then Heat Override again. Grad. If this goes the distance to another fighter that will be under 20% owned on DFS, I might have to have Grab in a whole bunch of my lineups. Thank you for the comments. Any other words for the people?
Just for your last fight, the Naurdiev, I do agree. I'm on the Naurdiev side. If you know anything about Park, he's 8-3. 2 of his 3 losses are inside the distance, and Naimov is pretty much well-rounded, and maybe you can get Park out of there. So maybe you can probably still get the money line plus maybe plus 150, 160 still at the range for Naimov. Hey, I'm probably going to sprinkle inside the distance.
You keep saying Naimov, but you mean
whoever's first in Park. Naurdiev. There you go.
Yeah, that's like 4 fights ago. But I
that's 4 fights ago. You don't need to go back to it. But yeah, I do agree with that pick, though.
I gotcha. All right, man. You want to do another one? You want to bounce?
Yeah, let's keep going. As long as nobody else comes on, I'll chill with you.
There's a bunch of people in here, but their cameras aren't on, so there they stay.
All right, say less.
Next up, at UFC Baku, we have Nazim Sadykhov taking on Nikolas Mata in another pretty wide odds kind of fight here. We have Nazim Sadykhov 10-1 in his career, 4-0-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that upset win over Ismail Bonfim. He's taking on Nikolas Mata 15-5 in his career, 3-1-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that straightforward win over Mahashete. I mentioned these odds are kind of wide, and that's not necessarily because I don't believe in Nazim Sadykhov, because he is actually very, very good. It's just that Nikolas Mata is also pretty good. Nikolas Mata is a good striker. He's fast. He's explosive. He's athletic. He moves pretty well. He's got good speed. He has solid takedown defense also at 82% that allows him to get loose with the striking. He's not worried about takedowns coming his way. He does a good job being patient and then pouring it on when he needs to. He just beat the absolute shit out of Mahashete in that last fight. But Nazim is the A side here. He's also the more than 4-1 favorite. And that's because he's a good kickboxer. He also has good speed. He's got good power. He's not reckless. Everything he does is clean and technical. The one time he was reckless, he had his back taken and he was submitted. He hasn't made that mistake since. He had an interesting career in the UFC because he's had a few firefights. He's had a couple of showcase fights. Most recently, showcase fight. He TKO win over Ismail Bonfim, where Nazim Sadykhov was the underdog. Nikolas Mata is very dangerous, mostly because of that lightning fast speed. He's got some real powers there. And while Mata probably has the speed advantage, I think Sadykhov is just overall better. I think he's more technical. I think he has the better footwork. I think he mixes in takedowns really, really well. I think he's better across the board. Therefore, I think he wins. And as long as he manages range, right, all the way in or all the way out, as long as he does that well and doesn't play the Mata speed game, then Nazim Sadykhov should absolutely win this fight. He's going to be the pick, and I think these odds are probably on point. What do you think, Joseph T?
Yeah, I don't know if they're on point, but I do think Sadykhov is just better everywhere. Is Mata live to land clean? We've seen Sadykhov get rocked in fights. Like, Evan Elder was going belt to ass on him in the fight until that doctor stoppage, and that was one night that ruined it because I could have had a perfect card parlay, but fucking doctors. But I think Mata's more of if you're playing 100 lineups in your big GPPs, he's definitely going to be a sprinkle. Because if he wins by any method, he's going to pay off the tag. But he's primarily a finisher. So he's going to, maybe 10x his price, especially if he gets a finish. So more of a deep GPP play. Mata, definitely keep him in your fighter pool. But I think Nazim is the side, though. Like, how much is he going to score? I don't know. But to me, he's safe to play. I think he can still score between mid-80 to high potential would have finished maybe 115 points. So I think he's safe to play.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Nikolas Mata is very good. I got a lot of respect for Nikolas Mata. I think he's a very good fighter. I've picked him as a dog a couple of times. I just think, listen, there's only one best fighter in the world, right? Not everybody can be the best fighter in the world or the best fighter in their division. And while Nikolas Mata, I do think is very good, and I do think he's just underrated, he's not the best fighter in this division, and he's not the better fighter in this matchup. I think Nazim is, but that doesn't mean Nikolas Mata sucks. So if you are on the Mata side, there's no argument to be had because he can absolutely win this fight. He's got speed. He's got power. And sometimes that will trump just clean technique. Nazim Sadykhov, $9,400 in DraftKings Fantasy. You are going to need a finish for that to cover because while he may work in a couple of takedowns, it's not going to be enough. It's not Merab. It's not 25 takedowns where he's going to rack up 5. So he'll get a few takedowns. It'll add 10 points to the overall total. And I think you're going to need Nazim to floor Nikolas Mata here or to go wrestle heavy for him to cover that salary. So that's going to be up to you. But if you want to check out what the Fight Simulator has to say, what DraftKings Optimizer has to say, what the artificial intelligence has to say, and who that pick, go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's $10 for an entire month's worth of access. We got a couple of more comments here. The judges will be on the Nazim side. They may be. I mean, he's a New Yorker, but he technically is an Azerbaijanian, so that is his home country. Like if I fought in Italy, I mean, I'm Italian. I actually have an Italian passport, but I grew up here. I'm an American. So yeah, technically speaking, that is his home country, and they may absolutely be on his side. I don't know if it goes through decision though, especially if Mata's having a ton of success, it might not go to decision. Hoopsy says Angelo's looking buff. Yeah, no shit.
What do you think the over-under is? Like 1.5?
God damn it, Joey. I'm like flexing, showing off my muscles. You didn't say fuck all. The over-under, what a joke. I think, well, let me see what I put on the website. Please hold. Because we put all the round leans on the website. Nazim Sadykhov, it's a 2.5, and I did the under.
Oh, I got 1.5. Damn it.
We did bet online, and it was 2.5, and I picked the under, as did Bet Sam and Artem. They all went with the under.
I agree with that. So if you're leaning the under, then there's a very good chance that Sadykhov could be worth it at 94.
I correct. It's just a matter of when, because Oban Elliott, who we broke down early on this card, he had a come from behind second round knockout. He didn't score a lot of points in that because it happened late. And he didn't have a ton of success in the first round. So, 94 is just a ton of money to spend. This could be a weird fight. But, yeah, certainly if you think it's going that way, then for sure. All right, any last words before I move on to the next fight?
No, sir. Let's get it.
All right, one more, and then I got to boot you because other people want to do the other breakdowns.
Cool.
Next up at UFC Baku, we have Motobek Orobai taking on Tafik Musayev. Motobek Orobai, 13-2 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off his first ever UFC loss. He's taking on Tafik Musayev, 22-5 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5, and this is his official UFC debut. Motobek Orobai, a fun, come-forward grappler who looks like a caveman. He's very entertaining, and he will entertain the striking before he gets to the wrestling. But then once he hits the wrestling, he's fully committed. He's all in. His wrestling and grappling pressure are nonstop. He's got plenty of cardio, plenty of power, a good chin. He can set a really nice pace. The striking has been steady. It's been improving. And we just got to see what a dog he is in his last fight. He came off that loss to Mataus Rebecki. He was dropped. He was taken down, but he never stopped coming forward. He's taking on Tafik Musayev. Tafik is fighting for the first time in 2 years, and he's making his UFC debut. But if we just look at the tape and we break it down, this guy is exciting as hell. He's a welcome addition to this weight class. And while he does have that no mustache, full beard look, he's not a nonstop wrestler. He's not a typical wrestler, at least. He will throw wild punches with 100% intent and look for finishes on the feet. He obviously can wrestle, and he's a good wrestler, but the striking is really where he wants to hang out. And this is a weird situation because Tafik has not fought in 2 full years, okay? 2 years he hasn't fought. He is also a local, an Azerbaijanian. And what we might get here, so he is very good. He's got a good record at 22-5. He's the former risen world champion. But what we might get here is a guy who found out the UFC is coming to his hometown, has a good enough record to justify a UFC signing, but wasn't really intending to fight, not training. Like, he's kind of done with that part of his career, but he hopped on board because when would I ever get the opportunity to fight in the UFC at home again? And that's sort of the risk here. That's what concerns me here, is that Tafik might be just sort of hopping on board to hop on board. I'm going to go with Motobek Orobai. He's the pick. I don't think, his chin is gone, even though we watched him get dropped. We watched him be chinny. I don't think the chin is gone. And I think that was just Mateusz Rebecki hitting like an absolute freight train. So I'm going to go with the caveman to get the caveman takedowns, push forward, just remind us how tough he can be. And we saw that toughness in his last fight, even though he lost. What do you think's going on here, Joey T?
I'm going to say this now. After this fight, he's not going to be under a minus 200. So take this to where I believe you're going to get it. I think there's a chance Orobai is probably one of my favorite plays. 8,500, good middle price tag. I do think the winner of this fight is going to score well for Optimal for multiple reasons. One, if it goes 3 rounds, we know Orobai is going to chain takedowns. He allows people to get up. Then he takes them right back down. 5 points each for each takedown. He controls a lot of fighters. And Tugik, most of his losses are inside the distance. 4 out of his last 5 losses are all by finish. And Orobai has 11 finishes out of 13. So maybe we even get some takedowns control and eventually get a finish late, maybe round 2, round 3. He's going to score in the high 100. So 8,500 could be one of the best plays on the slate.
Yeah, it could be. I had my reservations early. So every time I do breakdowns, I do my breakdown Sunday morning. So very, very early. And then as the week goes on, sometimes I get more or less confident in a fighter. Motobek Orobai is a guy that I've gotten more confident in as the week has gone on. I keep looking at it, and I realize he lost his last fight, and I lost some money on that fight. I thought he was going to beat Rebecki, but he lost a spectacular. Like, that dude fought his ass off, so I know he's not a coward. I know he can deal with adversity despite having a long win streak at that point in time. So I actually love it. I think he'll come in here ready to go. He'll probably actually wrestle more early because he was dropped in that fight. I just hope, sometimes you get these fighters that have never been dropped, and then they do, and now all of a sudden they're chinny. I just hope that's not the case here, but let's assume it isn't. And Motobek Orobai is going to be the pick. And if we're looking at DraftKings Fantasy, I don't disagree. $8,500, he might absolutely be worth that money. I did a couple of different plays here. In the prize picks and the underdog, I did over 2.5 takedowns, which means to get 3 takedowns. I absolutely think he'll get 3 takedowns. He has 3 fights in the UFC. The first one, he had 7 takedowns. The second one, he had 6. He had 2 takedowns in his last fight, and that was against a very, very, very good wrestler who was short and stocky. The other actual bet I have here is the over 1.5 rounds. I have Motobek straight up in a parlay, and I do like the over 1.5 rounds because Tafik is tough, and yes, he has been finished, which is why I love that it's a 1.5 round line and not a 2.5. I think Motobek will get some takedowns early, hang out, they'll find their way. If we get a finish, I don't think it's going to be early. So those are the bets I have going on. If you want to check out Jacob's bets, Bet Sam's bets, if you want to check out every pick, every bet, every tool that we have on the website, go to WeWantPicks.com. It's $10. Just click Become a Member. Right there on the top, you unlock all of it instantly for an entire month, all the way out through UFC 318. We got a couple of comments here, a lot of them, about how Motobek looks. This is seeming like a buy low spot on Orobai. I completely agree with you. We have my money's on the Homo sapien. All right. Motobek 10,000 BC Orobai. And Orobai looks like if you lit a lighter in front of him, he would freak the fuck out. That's actually, that one's very, very funny. All right, Joey, I'm going to let you go here. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for the invite. And if I'll chill in the back, just watch. If you need anybody else, I'll be in the back.
We should be good, but yeah, hang out because I have somebody that says they want the next fight, but their camera's not on. Then Luke wants to do the co-main. We have Avery that wants to do the main, so we should be good, but if not, I'll hit you up.
All right, brother. I'll be around.
All right, see ya. Motherfucker shut his camera off before he left the stream. Fucking Joey. Good
motherfucker.
Riddance. Good riddance. This fucking guy. Next up, At UFC Baku, we have Curtis Blaydes taking on Rizvan Kunayev. Curtis Blaydes 18-5 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that interim title loss to Tom Aspinall. He's taking on Rizvan Kunayev. 4-0-1 in his last 5. He's got that 1 no contest. That's what the 0-1 is. And that was steroids. Rizvan Kunayev is a former steroid user, as I mentioned. He was also supposed to fight Curtis Blaydes back in February. Then they moved it to March. Then Blaydes pulled out, and now here we are in June. Rizvan Kunayev was building a nice little career for himself while using steroids. He even has a win over the former PFL heavyweight champion, that giant dude, Renan Fajeda. He is seemingly pretty clean now. You can tell by his love handles, so he has put down the needle. But juice or no juice, he's going to fight the same way. He throws wild, he closes distance, then he looks to wrestle. He's got decent leg kicks, but he wings punches. When he's close, he looks to grind you to the cage, work you to the ground. On top, he's got some decent control if he gets there. He is coming off that win on the Contender Series, and now he's here. He's taking on Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes is a tale of 2 careers. Early, amazing wrestler, fantastic wrestler. He's a massive dude who wrestles like a welterweight. Low in his level, shooting doubles, running through people was amazing. Then he got knocked the fuck out by Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis was just waiting for an uppercut. Bang, caught him. Curtis Blaydes isn't really a wrestler anymore. He hasn't shot a single takedown. He hasn't even attempted a single takedown in 3 years. Some of that was because of that Derek Lewis knockout. Some of it was also because he had success with his hands. He was knocking some people out, and he was like, what the hell am I wrestling under these big dudes when I can knock people out? Problem is, he's also been getting knocked out. He's a little bit chinny, and we saw that in his last fight when he got knocked out by Tom Aspinall in that interim title shot. And this is an interesting fight. There's a couple of stories going on here. First of all, Rizvan is a former steroid user, hasn't used steroids, and now here he is. Rizvan also is all beard, no mustache. And he likes to wrestle. So you would assume he's a non-stop wrestler. He kind of sucks. Like, he's not that good of a fighter. He kind of sucks. And I was surprised to see that because I just assumed, the fate is going to be Curtis Blaydes, because Curtis Blaydes is not who he used to be. He doesn't wrestle anymore, which is the problem. He's a little bit chinny, which is the problem. So I was like, you know what? Let me go the other side. But then you watch the tape, you're like, oh, this dude stinks. So I've seen some people, here's the stats. I've seen some people say, whoa, look at the 31% takedown defense on Blaydes. His takedown defense sucks. And if Rizvan's shooting takedowns, we're fucked. Here's the problem, though. That is a skewed number because Jailton Almeida took him down 9 times. Jailton Almeida is an absolute savage. Jailton Almeida runs through Kunayev. That's not even close. So Jailton Almeida took him down 9 times, which absolutely destroyed his takedown defense. I'm going to have to pick Curtis Blaydes here. I don't like these odds. Minus 235 seems a little bit wide because Curtis Blaydes can be knocked out, potentially can be held against the cage, dragged to the ground. Hopefully he comes in here looking to wrestle. I don't trust Curtis's chin at this point in his career. So stop trying to knock people out. Go back to what made you successful. The only thing you need to do is just shoot 2 takedowns early. And if you don't finish the fight on the ground, now you're standing, but he's worried about takedowns, so it opens the hands up. Curtis Blaydes is going to be the pick. He's just the straight up better fighter. He's the better athlete. He's probably got more powerful strikes. He definitely has better wrestling. He just has to use all of those things. I don't know if he will. I have literally 0 bets on Blaydes whatsoever. I don't trust him enough at this point in his career. I'm going to pick him, but picks are not bets. Here's your PSA. People like to track picks as bets. They're not the same fucking thing. So listen to the words, right? What did I say? I'm going to pick Curtis Blaydes to win this fight. What did I also say? I put $0 on Curtis Blaydes, okay? So now, if you track that dumb shit and then assign some fake $100 bet to Curtis Blaydes and Curtis loses, and then you say Angelo lost money on this fight, what kind of fucking misrepresentative bullshit is that? I literally said Curtis Blaydes is going to be the pick, but I don't trust him, and I have spent $0. No dollars whatsoever. $0 on this fight. I better not see some fucking dumb shit like Angelo. Well, what we're going to do here is track picks as if they were bets and assign $100 to every one of them. That is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard in my life. Hey guys, don't bet on this fight. I would never, you should never. Yeah, let me go ahead and track it this way. Boom. That's a rant for me. And if you don't want the rant, you just want to get straight to the picks, go to WeWantPicks.com, click become a member at the top. You'll get tools. You'll get the actual bets. Not the fake bet, the real bets, the actual bets where the money went. One of those bets is the safety parlay. The safety parlay hit 6 in a row, 8 of 10. It lost last week. That's going to happen. Nobody bats 1,000. WeWantPicks.com, click become a member at the top. Unlock every single bet. Unlock all the picks, including what the robot says. We have an artificial intelligence, and unlock every single tool, like the fight simulator and everything else. WeWantPicks.com, click become a member at the top. Couple of comments. I see this. Nice to see you and Clint made up. I don't know what this even means. Who talked about who? And I didn't even know him and I were beefing. He did block me. He blocked me because, in 100% this is fairness, this was like, I don't know, 6 months ago or something like that. He was just like, it was like 4 weeks in a row. It's like another reverse sweep. And then the next week, it's like, I've got 3 units on this plus 200 dog. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. And he was down something enormous. So I was a little drunk and I thought I was texting somebody. And I said, his units have to these are either fake bets or the units are $10. Like, these are so erratic. And it's just like, it doesn't matter. You just lost all this money and it doesn't matter. That's crazy. So in all likelihood, I don't think he's lying. So I think they're just $10 bets. But I texted that to somebody. Turns out I was drunk and it was a tweet and not a text. And then instantly fucking blocked. So I didn't know we were actually beefing. And I don't know what this you guys made up thing means. So context would be helpful. Oh, you think Joey T looks like Clint? No, he does not. Angelo is no. Oh, all right, we'll share this. SK Sajid. My 2 parlays this week: Tagir plus Nazim plus Motobek. That's a good. That's solid. Then Nazim plus Motobek plus Ignacio. Here's your fucking problem, dude. If Nazim loses or Motobek loses, 2 parlays have hit the dust. Those should be good. Parlaying Ignacio is risky, dude. Fiziev at home. We're about to break this down. I'm going to break it down with you, Luke. Give me a second here. Ange. First of all, my family calls me Ange, okay? Would you say a heavyweight muscular construction guy can make it to the top 15 of the rankings? I could make it to the top 15 of the rankings. Not a construction guy, though. You can't defend takedowns. I can. But yeah, it's not hard to get in the top 15 of the UFC in this division right now. Angelo simultaneously happy that he is a top predictor on the tractor and sad because of the pick profitability tracking portion. That's not an accurate representation. I hate you can't take picks and assign a fake monetary value and then say this person made money, this person lost money. That's not an accurate representation. It's entirely false. It's entirely false. And to further complicate it, we actually have bets. And many times, the bets are wildly profitable. And there's a world with this fucking ridiculous logic of tracking where the bets are wildly profitable and I'm up money. These 3 favorites lost or whatever it is. So the picks are down and the money's down because taking a monetary value, assigning it to picks blindly across the board, despite people absolutely saying with no uncertain terms, I am not betting on this, or I have no confidence in this pick, and then still assigning a monetary value and tracking it that way is fucking absurd. It's fucking absurd. And he's saying, but you're happy when that your name is green on the list. That's a different portion. Tracking the straight picks. Tracking just straight up picks. And my name is green because I'm very good at picks long-term overall. That is fine. But once you assign fake money to those picks, and then say somebody is up or down money with this fake money that you've assigned, that's what I have a problem with. Track the picks. But then assigning fake money and representing it that way is fucking obscene. Because all you got to do to cheat the system is just pick a bunch of fucking underdogs. And then one of them hits, you could go 1-6 on picks, but the 7-1 dog, boom, you're good to go. What do you mean fake money? See, here's the problem. This conversation spiraling. Somebody is tracking picks, right? You with me? That part of the sentence makes sense. They're tracking picks. That same person then takes every single one of those picks. Let's use Curtis Blades, for example, and assigns a $100 value. I just said with my own mouth, I am not betting on Curtis Blades, and you shouldn't either, right? Then this person still says, all right, if I look at all of Angelo's bets or picks and I assign a $100 bet to all of them, here's where we're at. But I just fucking said I'm not betting on this person and I never would. So why would you take a fake bet, a fake amount of money, and assign it to it and then track it evenly? That's the problem. That's my one and only issue, is that bullshit. Okay, let's move on. Luke, that was my rant. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Angelo. I just want to say, yeah, that prediction tracker, while it is interesting, like you pointed out, it has its flaws. And I think more so, like, you can just kind of watch those videos and enjoy them from that, like, statistician kind of, like, effort that's being put into it. But it's, like you were saying, like, it's good when it's showing the accuracy. But I think actually the way you would cheat that system is just doing a prediction channel and picking all favorites. And then that way you're, in the top however many, every week. But it's funny when you do watch those videos, some people go really good one week and then the next week the heater's over and cooler has began. So it's not really to be taken that serious, I think.
The pick portion of it is very interesting. Like, I would love for that to be more, valuable is a weird word, but for that to carry more weight, what it should be is only picks, right? Not doing the fake assignment of money or any of that bullshit. Only the picks, include confidence levels, and then layer on stats and data. When this capper picks favorites at a high confidence, they hit 90% of the time. When this capper picks an underdog at this confidence, they hit 70% of the time. That type of data can be meaningful and useful, and people can then pick and choose. Oh, Angelo picked this guy. When Angelo goes out on a limb and picks a dog, it hits. When so-and-so picked this guy, turns out so-and-so for some reason picks welterweights at an incredible accuracy. That type of data and statistic is very beneficial. Assigning fake fucking money blindly across the board is stupid. It's a shortcut, and it's not an accurate representation of literally anything. That's my one and only complaint. So there's
I just wanted to give one little controversial statement real quick about women's MMA, which is that I love breaking down the women's fights. I actually think you get to see some really good mismatches, and sometimes the odds makers aren't picking up on that because maybe, they're not watching the film, or just the public is picking the, more attractive lady or the lady that's undefeated or whatnot. And sometimes you see really big mismatches when you are watching that film. You kind of pick up on those things. So if you like making money, I would say, like, don't ignore the women's fights completely, even if you might not be super entertained by them. I still think they're pretty entertaining myself, and I think the breakdowns are a pretty fun process. But
sure, yeah, and I've made a lot of money on lady overs. that's for sure. But I hear you. You ready to break this one down?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Next up at UFC Baku, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Rafael. It's not even Haf. I always do it. It's Rafael because he's not Brazilian. Rafael Fiziev. He is 12-4 in his career. An unfortunate 2-3 in his last 5. He is on a 3-fight skid, but 2 of those losses are to the same person. He's taken on Ignacio Bahamondes, 17-5 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's on a 3-fight win streak. If we talk about the A side here, Rafael Fiziev or Fiziev, he is the co-main event. A lot of people argued he should be the main event because he is actually from Azerbaijan. Not just like, have heritage there, like Nazim. He's actually from Azerbaijan. He's the most successful fighter to ever come out of there. And if you don't know his background, he was the Tagir Muay Thai striking coach. Tagir Muay Thai is like a world-acclaimed Muay Thai gym, and Rafael was the coach there. And you see that in the fights. When he is flowing, he's incredibly technical, incredibly fast, incredibly powerful. He's got phenomenal timing on his kicks, his punches. He is willing to engage. The problem is he's too willing to engage sometimes. He will get into a firefight, and he will go blow for blow. And somebody like a Justin Gaethje will just drag that out of him. So much so that in his last fight, he turned into a wrestler. He was shooting takedowns in that back and forth war with Justin. He's coming off that fight. He was knocked down twice, and he turned into a wrestler. And he doesn't have an easy task in front of him here because he's taking on an absolute giant 6'3" Ignacio Bahamondes. He uses that length and reach really, really well. He'll keep you at range with the striking. When he does enter the pocket, he'll clinch you up. He'll tie you up. He is a striker. He's got great volume. The power is good as well. Most likely because of A, leverage, and B, how far away he's striking from, and he's able to connect in a meaningful fashion while not being inside the danger zone. He's got solid takedown defense at 85%. His takedown offense, however, sits at a horrendous 0%. And that's not a fake 0. That's not a never attempted a takedown 0. He has tried and just can't get it done. He's coming off that triangle win over Jalen Turner. I mentioned in my quick video, I'm a little bit split here. Half of me is saying, well, Fiziev is going to be the more technical striker. And this should be a mostly striking matchup, especially because Ignacio can't get a takedown to save his life. The other half is saying, well, Ignacio is very good. Ignacio is long. Ignacio is dangerous. Ignacio can manage range better. And Rafael is definitely on a little bit of a downslide here. Yes, he's lost to the upper echelon of the division, but all of a sudden, Fiziev is like, getting knocked down in fights, shooting takedowns, and he's not what he used to be. I'm going to pick Ignacio. I have a bet on Ignacio. I got him at, I think, minus 105, I believe. At one point in time, you can see he was a tremendous underdog at plus 175. Logic says Fiziev should win because even if you look at those 3 recent losses, 2 of them are to Justin Gaethje, one of the best on the planet, and the other one was a freak injury, just a freak injury loss. So not really the losing skid that the red dots on Tapology would have you think, but I'm still going to lead Ignacio here. I just love the reach. I love the length. I love the fact that he can find finishes anywhere. I'm going to go with Ignacio. What do you got going on here, Luke?
Yeah, I actually am really excited for this fight. I think it's probably going to be up there in top 3 fights of the card. Just as like an early prediction, I think it'll probably be one of those most likely to get fight of the nights or one of those kind of deals. But I don't want to put too much stock into it being like a hometown fight for Rafael, but since he is such a big name from that country, I think that could kind of play into it a little bit just with the energy and such. And I really like what stood out to me was his durability when he got hit with that uppercut by Gaethje and somehow was able to kind of quickly recover and not go completely lights out. I think that definitely is the type of durability he's going to need against someone like Bahamondes. And I know you referenced Bahamondes is 0% takedown, but also Rafael has that 90% takedown defense. So if the fight is to go to the ground and there's going to be grappling involved, I wonder if almost we'll see Rafael have that kind of wrestling advantage. But yeah, I was surprised to see the odds. I think the odds technically flipped.
Oh, I know they full-blown flip, minus 205 to plus 175.
And on on Tapology, this is the closest fight in terms of like the percentages. So I think everyone's pretty split on this fight. I would actually say this is probably the fight to just stay away from and just enjoy, kick back and watch. But if I do have to give a pick, I would definitely have to say Fiziev. I just think he's just super durable, and he's fought the much higher level of competition too. I don't want to take away from Bahamondes because he's really good, but Turner was mentally checked out. Like we all know this. He went into that fight, and that kind of stinks because it takes away from the win for Bahamondes. And I you could correct me if I'm wrong, but that was like Bahamondes' biggest name at the time. So it's kind of tough to say. This is like a pretty huge jump up in competition.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I said, I said in the quick video, and my brain and my gut were split here. My brain is on the Fiziev side. Just He should be the better striker. His losses are good losses. Even his last loss, that was coming back after a leg injury and a year away, and it was kind of short notice. They just sort of slapped that together. And Ignacio has some quality wins, but the biggest one was Jalen Turner, who retired on the spot. And before that, his loss was to Ludovic Klein, who's not as good of a striker as Fiziev, and out-wrestled Bahamondes. So it's like, it is a weird spot, but I just was like, you know what? All this work I put into my gut, let's lean on that. So I went that direction. If I'm looking at DraftKings Fantasy, that's another pick your side. Pick your side. $8,000 for Rafael, $8,200 for Ignacio. There's a lot of finish upside on both. I think Ignacio has the higher finish upside. Like, if he wins, it is more likely by finish. Not that Fiziev is very finishable, but Ignacio's got the wild range. He was dropped twice in his last fight, and we got the submission upside. Where Fiziev hits hard, he's fast, he's accurate, but that power does fade a little bit, and so does his cardio. So pick your side for DraftKings Fantasy. I'm going to go with Ignacio Bahamondes. Luke is going to go with Rafael Fiziev. And if you need a tiebreaker or a split, go to the website, WeWantPicks.com. You can get Jacob's Picks, Bet Sam's, Artem's, and the Artificial Intelligence. On top of that, you're going to get every pick we offer, every bet that we offer. You're going to get the tools, access to all of it. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. We got a couple of comments here. One of these is for you. Where is it? Here we go. This is based off what you said about women. If you bet your rent money on women's MMA, it'll never be boring. MMA Jesus. You have been now donned MMA Jesus by the comment section. Ree says Angelo's left titty is bigger than the other one. It's not the whole tit. It's just the nipple. That's where the ring was before my mother ripped it out. Also, Ree, Angelo, can you tickle my pickle for a nickel? Tell you what, send a $200 super chat and then a DM. Jake the loser, but remember, guys, we just saw Usman win. We thought he was done too. I think Fiziev may have it. This is a very valid point. That is absolutely a valid point, because all of a sudden, Usman, yes, he had to wrestle the whole time and was afraid of striking, but he did have working knees after 2 years of not having working knees. Luke, any last words for the people?
I think that's it for me. Thanks for having me on, Angelo. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you hopping on. Thanks for being here.
Take care.
See ya. Avery, you said you want to do the fucking main event, and here you are, camera off. So you better turn that shit on in the next couple of seconds. Here it is. Here the fuck it is. How you doing, Avery? Oh, the hair's up. Okay.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad. I need to get a haircut and I need to wash it.
I wish I had those. Well, maybe wash it, but I wish I had I have too much hair, so it looks bad problem. So I don't want to hear you bitching about that. Any opening remarks before we break down this main event?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you real quick. Who is in your top 5 greatest of all time? And also, I was gonna say that sometimes you do, when you're roasting me, you keep saying that I'm like a young dude, and I get it, I am young, but I still rate the older generation as well, because for a while I had Matt Hughes over Usman in the welterweight GOAT conversation, but looking back on it now, I realize that Usman he's above Hughes, so but I have to go back on that. So, but I have Hughes at number 3 though.
Man, this is a wild fucking question right now. Top 5 best fighters of all time is what you're asking me?
Yeah.
And when you do this, you got to do by their era, meaning anybody now would kick the fuck out of anybody early in the UFC. That's just how that sport has gone. So you got to go.
Not all of them, but I do for the most part, yes.
Who in that first generation could have hung?
Don Fry is beating the shit out of Josh Parisian. If we're just being to be a technical dick, Josh Parisian is getting folded by Don Fry.
I mean, potentially, but I mean,
and also,
maybe
how old are you?
That was a good example.
About like very early days or like golden
I'm just saying,
era?
in general, every sport evolves. People get bigger, faster, more athletic. They understand the skills. Don Fry couldn't defend a fucking takedown. So like the skills evolve as well. So my point to that was, if I say somebody like, all right, well, top 5 all time, you got to do Anderson, you got to do GSP, you got to do John Jones. Those are 3 right there. I think heavyweight is kind of bullshit, because technically speaking, Stipe is the best heavyweight of all time, just literally because of his record. But I'll go back. Let's see. DJ, there's number 4 for one of the best fighters of all time. And then I have a whole bunch of favorite fighters like Tito and Vitor, but they weren't the best. They were never the best. Who would be the 5th best fighter of all time? Probably, man.
You can go Volk or Islam.
Islam hasn't done enough yet, and Volk. Jose Aldo.
Okay, I get that, but I gotta.
He just admitted he was 40. He just admitted he was 45 years old.
I know. Aldo's been doing it forever, but I still gotta go. Well, I mean, wait. So what was the age? So a 7-year difference. Oh, so when he was freaking 20 years old in the WEC, he was actually like 27.
Yeah, he's been lying about his age forever. And I've been telling all of you he's been lying about his age, and now he finally admitted it.
I guess I don't know. I gotta go. I don't know because I just gotta go because like when I like look at those fighters, like I do have. So I have John at 1, got GSP at 2, and then I got DJ at 3. But I would have behind DJ, I would have Volk and Islam, and the reason I say that is because Anderson, like Anderson, like don't get me wrong, typical argument for Anderson is like, oh, he's beating up, barbecue dads or just bums and whatnot.
That's why I said you got to go with the era they were in.
Yeah, but looking back, he did have some legit wins though. Vitor Belfort, Chael Sonnen, and Damian Maia. There was another one. Dan Henderson, and then Patrick Cote. Oh, Yushin Okami too. I was looking through Yushin Okami's record. He wasn't bad at all. He was pretty good, for the time.
The criticism of him was always he never beat a very good wrestler. That was the criticism, but that's not his fault. He cleaned out his division, and then he got old. It's not his fault. And Chael Sonnen, he beat Chael twice, and Chael out wrestled the shit out of him. He still beat Chael twice. So
yeah, Chael destroyed him in that first fight.
Chael fucked up.
But
that's the most bad I've ever felt for somebody in a post-fight speech. Because he was like, I was second at Worlds, I was second at this, I was second, and now I'm second here again. And I just felt bad for him because he dominated 23 minutes of a 25-minute fight and still fucked it up. So, man.
Yeah, Chael was freaking sauced for that fight.
And still lost. That's how good Anderson was. Let's go ahead and break down this fight.
Okay.
Next up, at UFC Baku, we have the main event of the evening. We have Jamal Hill taking on Khalil Rountree. This fight was supposed to happen a while ago. I forget which fight night it was, but they rebooked it. They moved this entire fight, and now it is the Baku main event. Nothing says a main event in Azerbaijan than 2 American guys getting after it. Jamal Hill, 12-3 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that war with Yuri Prochazka. Khalil Rountree, 13-6 in his career. He is 4-1 in his last 5. He is also coming off of a war, but his was with Alex Pereira. We all know Jamal Hill by now. Former light heavyweight champion of the world. He had to get rid of that belt because he blew out his Achilles. Then he came back after trying to heal up in somewhat short notice against Alex Pereira at UFC 300. He got knocked out and was memed. And then he came back. He fought Yuri Prochazka in his last fight, and that was a war. And I gained a lot of respect for Jamal Hill because Jamal Hill is wildly unlikable. He's just insanely unlikable. But he went into that fight with Yuri. It was back and forth. He took a beating. He delivered a beating. He didn't quit. He did all the things. And all of a sudden, Jamal Hill, somewhat likable guy. You need to mute your shit. Somewhat likable guy. Jamal Hill is a rangy striker. He's got some decent power, good timing. Jamal Hill has good footwork. And that is a comment that I made in my quick pick video. And I probably got 10, 15, 20 comments. Good footwork. Yeah, he's got good foot. When was it bad? He beat Glover Teixeira quite literally with footwork. With footwork, he beat Glover Teixeira. He was able to move out of the way, keep his feet nice and wide, nice good base, constantly moving, never sitting still, good footwork. He lost to Alex Pereira. Oh, in a weird exchange, he lost to the most powerful striker the division has ever seen. Okay, how does that make his footwork bad? Then he lost to Yuri Prochazka in an absolute war. The footwork doesn't matter with Yuri Prochazka because that dude just moves forward like the Terminator. He doesn't give a shit. So yeah, I stick by what I said. Jamal Hill, who I don't like and I'm not picking in this fight, I think he's got good footwork. He also has good takedown defense at 73%. He's not going to need it here because he's fighting Khalil Rountree. Khalil Rountree has quite literally never attempted a single takedown in his UFC career. Not one. And he's been in the UFC for a while. Khalil Rountree's a Muay Thai striker. He's got a ton of power. He's very fast. He can knock anybody out. He'll chop down your legs. He'll find the head. He fights really well moving forward, but backing up, not quite the same because he can't plant to throw those kicks. He can't quite have that same success in reverse as he does moving forward. As I mentioned, 0 takedowns in his 16-fight UFC career. Takedown defense is just okay at 58%, and he's coming off that wild back-and-forth fight with Alex Pereira where Alex hit that flow state. But the criticism was that Khalil didn't deserve to be there. It was a bullshit main event. It was a bullshit title fight because they didn't want to have Ankalaev in there. And I think Khalil showed us all that he deserved to be there, and he put on quite the performance and at times had good success against the very dangerous Alex Pereira. I'm going to pick Khalil here, though. While it was nice to see that Jamal Hill can be in a war and Jamal can go back and forth and can be in a gross, ugly, dirty fight and not quit on himself, I just think Khalil hits too hard. I think he's too fast. I think he's too clean. I don't think any of it's going to matter because of Khalil's just forward pressure, his speed, and his power. So I'm going to be picking Khalil here. This line has collapsed. Khalil was a site favorite, now dead even. What do you think, Avery? You're muted, motherfucker.
Am I lagging? Am I lagging hard on my side? I think I am.
No, you're good. No, you're fine. Go ahead, break it down.
All right. At first I had this a 50-50 fight. I really didn't know. My uncle was asking me who was gonna win this fight, and I was like, I just don't know. I was gonna lean towards Khalil. I'm looking through like the resumes and then the style and whatnot, and I have to go Jamal Hill. You're right. Khalil doesn't do the best when he's backing up. And also he just like Khalil is a killer when he's beating up cans. That I know that's a rude thing to say, but he's a killer when he's beating up cans, beating up wash guys like Anthony Smith. Like Anthony Smith has never been elite. Like let's just start right there. And especially at this age, Anthony Smith is like he's been done. But it's like I said, it's a real close fight. Both these guys are both coming off, relatively, bad damage. Jamal Hill had the KO loss, and then he had the finish loss again against Yuri, and then Khalil's coming back from having his like face turned into paste. So it is, interesting on that front, but I got to go Jamal Hill. I think he's going to be aggressive early. He's going to put the pressure on Khalil, and then we're going to see classic Khalil, not like the pressure, start crying, and then fade and get put away.
Yep, it could be an interesting situation. I'm on the Khalil side. Many people here and in the chat are on the other side. It should be an interesting fight because Jamal Hill has become a world champion. And you could argue, oh, well, Glover was old. Glover beat the shit out of Yuri. It was the exact same thing as Chael Sonnen. Glover was 30 seconds, not even a minute, 30 seconds away from beating Yuri Prochazka. So he would have been 2-time world champion. So Jamal Hill, to win that belt, he has accomplished quite literally what everybody is looking to accomplish. Were you about to say something, or you were just taking
Yeah, and I don't even think
breath?
Jamal Hill's No. Well, yeah, I was breathing, but also, yeah, I don't think Jamal Hill's like unlikable. When it comes to the UFC, like nobody has personality. Everybody's, like I don't even mean to be rude to all the fighters, but every UFC fighter is a retard. When they have personality, it gets fun. Like like when we had Colby coming up, shit talking, Masvidal, Usman, all these guys coming up, shit talking. Like that's what we need right now. I feel like this sport, like it's just so boring. Like there's nobody I'm personally rooting for unless I have money on them. So I think if Jamal Hill comes out here and put Goliath, just because it's light heavyweight. There's nobody.
All right, you're lagging too bad. I got to kick you here.
Am I going out?
You're going out bad, and now your
Your
video's entirely to the front. No, you're good. The point was received. So essentially, he was saying that Jamal Hill. It's not that Jamal Hill's unlikable. He just has a strong personality, and people don't enjoy that personality, which that's what unlikable means. But listen, the reality is, I don't necessarily disagree. And somebody mentioned in the comment here that it's, I can't find it now. It's Jamal Hill's delusion. It's the delusion that gets people mad at him. And that is true. After he lost to Alex Bejeda, he was delusional about the loss. Blamed it on everything possible. Insanely delusional about that loss. Then he approached Alex in the gym. It was a whole thing. But after the year he lost, we didn't get the same bullshit. We got a man that understood he lost that fight. We got a man that was in a war that just accepted it and didn't run down the path of delusional nonsense. So I do think Jamal Hill is working his way back to likability. He was very likable, lost the Alex fight, and then things went downhill. I am going to be on the Khalil Rountree side here. You will get an even better deal if you already were, because now he's minus 110. I'm going to be on the Rountree side. If you want to see who Jacob picked, who Artem picked, who Betsam picked, go ahead and check it out on the website. Every single one of their picks, including the AI, is available right now. $8,400 in DraftKings Fantasy for Khalil Rountree, $7,800 for Jamal Hill. We have 5 rounds to work with. Both of these men can finish. Both of them have been finished. Pick your side. If you're already on a side, jump in, 10 toes down, stand on business, and put one of them in your DraftKings fantasy lineup. Go to WeWantPicks.com, unlock all of it. It's $10 for an entire month. UFC 317 is next week. UFC 318 is a couple of weeks after that. Both of those events and the 2 fights in between will be included in your premium membership. I got a couple of comments pinned here, and then we're going to shut this bitch down. Devin Mays says, Hill became a champion with that footwork. People are leaning too hard on that. He's got hands. Peyton Olsen says, Hill's injuries are another red flag. And then I saw a million comments talking about a ruptured Achilles. And that is true. If you're not durable because your body's given up, that can be a problem. So maybe the footwork that I'm praising won't quite be there if he's stiff and the Achilles isn't doing what it's supposed to do. Anything is possible. Bernie, I see you called in, but your video is entirely frozen right now, so I can't throw you on. It is what it is. And then we have a comment from Johnny Capistani. Johnny Capistani. Pro tip, pay up for premium. Feed like from Halo. Pay up for premium feed like from Halo. If they're still around, haven't seen them in months, years, or instinct, whatever the vet recommends sells. Oh, he's talking about my dog. He's saying buy the good food like from Halo. And then if they're still around and you haven't seen them in months or years or instinct, whatever the vet recommends. Man, I don't know what the fuck you said. I think that was a suggestion for the dog, so I appreciate you. Anvi, I see you called in. It's too late, man. I'm shutting this fucking shit down. I'm sorry, dude. All right, fine. Here, hurry the fuck up.
I just want to know, how do you think the main event end? I have it. It's pretty expensive. I put it in a parlay. It's minus 400. I put the fight doesn't go the distance. What do you think?
It probably does not go the distance. That's what I just said, if you were fucking listening. I said... Yeah, well, that's the problem. I said they both have finished people and they both have been finished. So I don't necessarily think this does go the distance. So I think under 4.5 could be solid.
All right. Thank you.
All right, goodbye. Good riddance. See ya. Guys, thanks for hopping on. I know this was an out of the ordinary stream, but this is the type of stream I am looking to build, meaning when Jacob can't be here, who better to join me than the community? You guys know your shit. Some of you more better than others, but you guys know your shit. You do your research, especially the premium members with access to the tools. So anytime Jacob's not around, I'm going to try to do these. If this is a show you'd like more of, meaning I'll still do the show with Jacob, but maybe a different night of the week, we do something like this. I'm not going to break down this fucking card 4 times, but still something like this where it's just you guys breaking down and a new premium member for every fight, and you just break it down. We move on to the next. Let me know, because the community is a massive part of what we do here and a massive part of the success. So why not include you guys, especially if you're trying to do your own thing like Joey T is. Thank every single one of you for being here, and that's why I'm going to pitch premium one last time. But before I pitch premium, go download the app. Search We Want Picks in the App Store. In the App Store, you can get the app for 100% nothing. It is entirely free, top to bottom. You will have full access to everything premium has to offer, and then on top of it, push notifications. You'll have access to the fight simulator. The fight simulator is going to simulate fights 100,000 times. You will get those simulations. You can use them to place bets, build DraftKings fantasy lineups, do whatever you want with that information. We have access to the tape index. The tape index will give you every fighter on the card, who they're fighting, their record, and then you click the little red play button, video pops up, and you're off to the promised land watching the fights themselves. You have access to the DraftKings Optimizer. This will build DraftKings fantasy lineups for you. You don't know how to use an optimizer? You are in luck. Just hit the little slider at the top that'll unlock beginner mode, and beginner mode will walk you through with logical questions how to use the DraftKings Optimizer. We have a data analyzer. This is one of the most underrated tools in this space, quite literally a one-stop shop. You pull up your fight card, you pull up your fighter, it immediately compares his stats to his opponent. Then you can add, remove filters, select, unselect information, and that chart at the bottom will update. And then inside the chart, you hover over a button, you'll see the judges, you'll see the scorecards, the referee, how that fight happened, what happened, all the information right there. We have a line movement tracker. This will give you the opening odds, the current odds, win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. You'll have a prop hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And you'll have access to everybody. Artem, with that atrocious picture. He actually is much better looking now. BetSam with the wild scream for no reason. And the artificial intelligence. Every single pick, every single bet, every single tool available right now on the website. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate the 300 of you that joined, and good luck this weekend.